Good job.
Ah, fuck me in the ass and call me Judy. Okay. Okay. Craig Ferguson.
He made a joke, I think, in Wales or whatever, and he goes like there's a stereotype about you guys that you like to fuck sheep.
Yeah.
And when I saw your woman, I understand. I understand why.
Makes sense.
And right afterward, he got punched.
Aw.
You know, I think like he got attacked. And then another time, there was like he was in a bar after a comedy show, and he's sitting there, and a girl just comes and sits on his lap. Yeah. And he's just talking to her. Like, he says, "What the hell happened?" He's just talking to her until her boyfriend comes and punches him.
Again.
He gets slapped by a guy, and the guy goes, "Keep my sheep's mouth out of your fucking name." Fucking mouth.
Yeah.
So you were
Yeah.
on the metro.
I was talking about the other Craig Ferguson. Sorry, hold on. I need a prop for this.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I need a. All right. So. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. We're drinking cider today, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
At 11 a.m.
I'm drinking non-alcoholic
It's
cider.
12:30. I was late by an hour and a half.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, this is actually really good. So I rushed back home after a summer cottage fiesta, and so because I'm gonna be on the metro for a little bit, I'm trying to find headphones, and I can't find anything. So I get my daughter's headphones. So I'm walking around the metro like this,
Come on, why not?
and I'm listening to I'm listening to like DMX. I'm like, what these bitches want from the nigga, but like wearing these, and so I'm walking around, and I notice like two distinct reactions from chicks, because it's only some dudes are just like like this, but like two distinct reactions from chicks. One is like ugh, this guy. Not serious. He probably doesn't have a job. He probably like lives with his mom, or
Which
whatever,
is true.
Whatever they're thinking. I mean, technically.
Let's go, but yeah.
If you ask the tax office.
Yeah.
And but then the other reaction, I like the other reaction more. It's more like, oh yeah, this fucking guy knows how to get down.
She saw your shins, man.
Shins? Dude, she saw. I mean, you can't see it while I'm sitting down because there's a little bit of jiggle still here. But
The cider jiggle.
oh man, yeah. I'm working it off. Every day. So now I get up because I'm at the summer cottage, and there's a huge pool, and I get up in the morning before everybody else, and I jump into that motherfucker. It's pretty cold. It's not as cold. You wouldn't call it a cold
But
plunge.
they turned off the hot water in the pool too.
Man, the hot water in my house is now off because of the pipe renovations. And man, I am praying for rain these days because it's the only time I can take a shower. Honestly,
Yeah.
like.
There's a certain hotel that a certain president went to. You can have all the showers. But
Yeah.
anyways, but you have to pay a lot.
Exactly.
I'm not up to date on
Donald
You need
Trump.
to. This is like
which showers
eight
the
years.
presidents use
eight years
ago.
rumor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we all know that rumors are true if they're on the internet.
You know which rumor turned out to be true?
Which one?
Pizza one.
Hunter Biden's laptop.
What was on his laptop?
Oh, just some like freaky shit.
Cocaine lines.
I mean they found that later.
Yeah.
But it turned out that he had like a bunch of different stuff about like Burisma and all this Ukraine shit. Like this Ukrainian company that Hunter Biden was working for. They get paid.
You know what I was like. For me, like when you tell me this, I was like, you didn't know.
I mean, no, obviously, I expected it.
Like anyone who has a high position, I instantly know I really want to know, not the freaky shit, like what's the normal stuff that they do.
Yeah. If any.
Yeah, exactly.
If any at all, do they eat or breathe?
Like in Jordan, this happened when there was a guy who was like accused of corruption.
Yeah.
And the person who was accused him was like, look, I have a villa in a certain place, and everybody went, where did you get the money for that villa? We know he's a thief.
Yeah.
What about you?
And he's like,
Yeah,
he bought me.
no, he just said my family name is this, and everybody went, you know what, we get amnesia for 24 hours. So
Sure.
This is what happens in Jordan. You just say the family name,
Yeah.
and everybody has amnesia about whatever you do.
I think that's what happens in every country. Every country has like the pinnacle. It's like a little triangle with like a pyramid, So at the pinnacle, there's like the untouchables,
Mm.
and somehow I'm a fervent believer of all of these like conspiracy theories. I believe that they pass this shit on from generation to generation.
Yeah.
So it's
Isn't like the bushes? How many bushes were like?
yeah.
Let's say if we talk about just a certain
Yeah.
family.
Mm.
In Jordan, we have like there's a certain family in Jordan that you instantly know the moment you're born into this family, you have a position in parliament.
You're set.
Oh wow.
At least Parliament.
I say parliament. It just
It just sounds good.
Yeah, like you guys, for example, people watch UFC or whatever. No,
Yep.
we went when the parliament guys start talking to each other, and we just watch that. They start punching each other.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's cool.
there was a guy who was so.
They're not in the octagon. They're in the pentagon. Okay.
There was a guy who was very adamant about like Palestine and everything. Like
Sure.
he was just very passionate
Pro.
about
He's
it.
pro.
Oh yeah, like well, if you're in Jordan, you're not pro. You are in another country.
You're a cunt.
And he was so like being like Palestine, and he was shouting so much that one of the guys said, "Will you shut the fuck up?"
Yes.
And the other guy was Palestinian who told him.
Oh, the Palestinian.
Yeah, he's like, okay, you just shut the fuck
Wow.
up, man. Yeah, we get it. You want votes, we get it.
Is it like one of those cases where like, oh, you have to say that just so you can get the votes?
Oh, man.
Because like I saw this it's a beauty pageant or whatever the fuck it was, and this girl goes, they ask her a question like, how do you feel about winning or something like that? And she goes, I want to thank the transgender community, blah blah blah. She did this whole speech
Yeah, out of
about
nowhere.
just to get votes. Is it like similar for your guy?
But in Jordan, what happens in these elections is one day before the people cast their votes for like the parliament or whatever.
Sure.
They buy these votes. So, and do you know how much they buy? They buy them for $30 and food.
Mm.
Sounds
they-
sounds familiar. I think I know. I think I know a couple of other places where that happens too.
Yeah, too much.
Who will be voting for Zoom attacks? R.I.P. R.I.P.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so
Did you see the beauty pageant? The fat chick, Miss Alabama.
I'm not sure. Like, there's this fat transgender chick.
I don't know. She wasn't.
Fat transgender chick.
I mean that she should have been a transgender, but I think she's just a female. But she has so many creases, you wouldn't be able to tell. If she's like, you have to dig through.
No.
Like a fuck.
I remember.
too many votes.
She got too many votes. Yeah.
She ate too many votes. No, but like I remember because there was this like transgender girl, fat girl, and she won the beauty and people were outraged like, yeah, if you want to give it to a transgender, at least give it to an attractive transgender. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot.
yeah,
Very often you're confused.
And you should check, like, to be honest, because like how they tuck their dick inside.
I'm totally fine with the dick
That
out.
my thing is that that's where the beauty pageant should focus on. How good is the surgery after surgery?
All right.
and Miss.
That'd be weird. That'd be weird. I've never actually. Would you bang a transgender fully post-op transgender chick if you knew?
I'm not into that. Nah.
If you knew. I'm thinking like I'm not gay, but like after a
But
couple.
are you gay?
I'm gay in the sense of happy internally.
You mean you're still in the 1920s before they changed the?
Yeah, that's right.
Back when-
Before gay became faggot.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I'm gay as shit.
Mm.
I do enjoy it, but like, I'm really glad I'm past my. I don't want to say prime, but let's say my glory day, my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm way past that already because
Your I want to experiment days.
my experiment days are over now. So yeah, so like I'm not. But I'm thinking like if I had an opportunity, if I had a chance, I'd probably be totally okay with like, hanging out with maybe like a couple of chicks and maybe like a pretty.
Is it chicks
pretty
or dudettes?
No, actual chicks.
Ah, okay.
Actual chicks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like full on female by
Okay.
birth. And
Okay.
and then a couple and then a couple of pretty just to keep the girls occupied while I recharge. I would I just to observe because it'd be like if you look just from the waist up, it's like 4 chicks.
Mm.
You've been in an orgy, if I'm not mistaken.
I've been I'm trying to
You
finance.
were
the
a
organ.
participant.
I've been a participant, yeah. And
How did that happen?
there's been several.
Okay. Well, how did the first one happen?
I mean, the first one was probably when I was like 16 or 17. It was really strange. Yeah, I couldn't believe it that it actually happened.
You
We were
opened
in
the
a,
wrong door.
no. I walked in through the right door.
Okay, yeah.
It was a buddy of mine. And I was like 16, 17. He was maybe like 20, and we were both studying in the university. He had his own place. I lived in student housing, and
This was where?
this was Mikke,
Finland.
Finland.
Okay.
How many consonants does that word?
Double. It's,
Unpronounced.
M-I-K-K.
Yeah.
M-I-K-K-E-L-I. And small city, really nice, really, it's super cute. Super cute. To live there is fantastic. If you're like 60, oh my god, you'd love
It's
to.
heaven.
A lot of Russians who can afford live there because it's like a bunch of lakes. Finland's biggest lake is right next to me. And so it's a really nice place. And so on top of that, there's a couple of universities there, a couple of polytechs and a couple of universities. And so the student housing that I lived in had different people from different institutions. So on top of me, there's this couple, two chicks. They were from Lithuania. Man, it was just like out of a fucking movie. One was like a little shorter, but she was more plump, huge tits and big ass, and I'd give like her face, I'd give her maybe like a 7.
Like you would grab her face and
You could do that. You could do that. She was
Mhm.
cute, especially with makeup. She did not know about fake lashes at the time. So had she had fake lashes, oh my gosh, she'd be close to a 9.
Okay.
So she's pretty good. And then the other chick was like tall and really slender, very very slender. So it was just like out of a fucking movie. And so we meet somewhere like at a bar or something, and we're like, hey, what's up? And they're like, oh, Lithuania. And I'm like, hey, I'm from Russia. And they're like, oh, like, blah, blah,
That
blah.
was back when it was cool to say I'm from Russia.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is like 2000 and fucking, I don't
Very
know.
low, very
A long,
2000
this is like 20 years ago. This is 20 years ago. Oh. And we're like, hey, we should like hang out. And the other girl was like, oh, well, my birthday's coming up. And I'm like, well, I have my buddy. He has a place. We don't have to stay in the student housing. We don't have to stay in the dormitories. We can go to his place. And they're like, totally cool. And then I go up to my buddy and I'm like, yo, man, I met these two chicks. Pretty cool. You can take the skinny one. I'll take the bigger one. And he's like, there's no fucking way that they will come over to my place and we bang, all of us. And I'm like, we're gonna make it work. They come over. It takes a while. We play some stupid drinking games. We play some like undress poker.
Cosby games, I get it.
In the end, we start getting it on. My mind is fully blown because I have only seen this in like, movies prior. But now it's happening. It's unfolding in front of me in real life. And we come to find out that the plump chick, she's pretty experienced. And I don't think I was super experienced at the time. I mean, it's like fucking 16.
So I really have to ask, how did you get that she was super experienced?
She knew her way around.
Okay. She put the finger in the one.
She just knew how to do things.
Okay.
And I felt totally secure and comfortable around her. But then it turned out that the slender chick, they were older. They were like 19, 20, maybe even 21. The slender chick, she was a virgin. And my buddy turned out he was a virgin as well. And so I was like, fuck, this was a match.
You were not a virgin.
I was not a virgin at the time already.
And then Nikolai probably at the age of 80. So.
But I mean, yeah, but it wasn't like anything super crazy. But anyways, me and this chick, we get it on, and these two are they try to get it on over here, and yeah, it was just that's just how it happened. That was the first one. Nobody paid anybody. There was
the rest you paid for.
There was no money exchanged. I mean, we paid for like whatever drinks and stuff. But yeah, it was freaky. It was freaky. Had I known.
But like, did you swap?
We did not know. We did not know.
So
is that an orgy?
Yeah, that's like you were just fucking in the same room, yeah.
I mean, if you want to get into technicalities, that's like a...
Yeah, basically that's what we're going into.
That's like a swingers night without exchange.
The two girls and the two guys.
Oh, they switch. No, that never happened.
Never.
That never happened. But yeah, from then on, it was this was my shtick, and so there's a time when I broke up with my girlfriend at a time. At the time, I was maybe like 21 already, 22. And I decided to follow my dreams. You know how they tell you to follow your dreams? And I went to Berlin.
I was about to say Germany.
I got tickets.
I was about to say Germany.
I got tickets because if you go, if you watch these videos on these random websites, in some of these videos they advertise like auf der, participieren.
Wait,
zurück, blah blah blah.
Germany is like where they have a lot of those like orgy stuff.
It's known for the picky stuff.
People are ugly as shit, so obviously they have no problem switching.
I think they have the latex and the masks.
Yeah, and a lot of like shit and piss porn it's for some reason in Germany. I'm not the first one to recognize it. Somebody else said this. I don't remember who, but Japan and Germany, those are the two.
Oof.
And so there's this place. It's called GGG.
It's the losers of the World War II. Are the ones
technically, Technically, for some reason, they went into shit and piss.
Okay.
I wonder if there's any research being done right now to determine.
Well, you can do.
I think. You know what I think? I think it's like being too comfortable. Like, what should we do next? You know, like we're too comfortable.
Oh, we lost.
Yeah, I mean,
we might.
What else is we gonna lose?
We might as well.
Yeah.
Why don't you just shit?
Yeah, people are shitting on us anyway.
Yeah. Metaphorically, why don't we get down to literal? So, GGG, German goo, GOO. Girls.
I happened to accidentally witness one video
while you were doing research.
What is this GGG thing? And I downloaded like 1 or 100 movies just to take a check.
Obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Basically, bukkake, gangbang.
What is bukkake? Is it? Now I'm saying this out of ignorance. Is it a Japanese word?
Yeah.
Or so it's a Japanese word.
Yeah, bukkake used to be a form of punishment to a wife, I guess, for infidelity. And so if she was caught, like in some countries, infidelity is punished with stoning,
whipping, stoning. Marrying the person. I get it.
Yeah. but in Japan, apparently, this was like way back when. I'm not entirely sure of the timeline, but a long time ago. What they would do is they would put the chick in the middle, and like a bunch of dudes would just ejaculate on the chick. I
really have to ask, like, what's the timeline for this? Because like Japan's more like, let's say, the culture of Japan is more like known for the harakiri or the seppuku thing, to remove your shame, basically. So you remove yourself from the world.
Yeah.
So when was this the bukkake thing?
I'm thinking like 19th century.
That's interesting, because if you look at how like they're very strict with their tradition,
absolutely,
and like shame, let's say that's culture of like shame.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even put Japan in that.
I understand.
But
I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. Any place that has very strict rules is bound to be plagued with a bunch of really weird stuff. Because it's like, it goes back to like, when we were kids, like if, your parents tell you, don't do this, what's the thing that you want to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Do the fucking thing that you were told not to do. It's the same thing. Like, don't think about the pink elephant. Pink elephant.
Pink elephant, fucking Dr. Seuss, man.
That's right. That's right.
And one thing, like when you say about how like these strict rules, there's a certain Arab country which has like it had so much strict rules that I was surprised when I found out they have a cuckold culture thing, and I thought it was just like just a stereotype or even a faraway stereotype, that's not real, until one guy from the police from that country, he was telling me about all the cases.
He invited you over.
To be honest, I couldn't get the ticket to that country. We were here in Russia.
I understand.
And when he was telling me, and then he showed me a website, Twitter, and so X.
Twitter finally allowed porn
Yeah.
back again.
Yeah. You could see titties, everything.
I mean,
when did this
porn,
allow?
porn, like a couple of days ago.
So it wasn't allowed before.
I don't think so. I think it was just like nudity, like you had to like put pasties on nipples and stuff like that.
Okay,
But now you can totally see
Pastries on
penetration.
nipples. Oh, pasties. Okay.
Yeah.
Pastries.
Porn in general has been a Jewish enterprise ever since the beginning of time, and so that's the first thing that you want to do. Because what porn does is it makes you, it gets you horny, and so you start, jacking off.
Yeah.
And we all know, by now it's like common knowledge that fapping is not particularly productive to your overall well-being, because we are all just energy. We're just energy clothed in, substance, but primarily we're energy. And so I'm not entirely sure how that works for chicks, but like it feels like it works the other way around. Like if a chick squirts, she feels
Energized.
super energized afterwards. But for dudes, it's called petit mort, which is the little death. And so if you obviously it's a little different if you're banging and if you're banging yourself. So
and then you look at yourself in the mirror and say, "What the fuck
shame.
are you doing with your life?"
Yeah, the post-nut syndrome or whatever the
Just
fuck.
like,
Actually, this only happened to me when I was young, and
Yeah.
after it, I was like, "No, I feel great.
Yeah.
Fuck off, man! I'm not gonna shoot myself for this shit."
It depends on if you had a problem or not. Like I knew that I had a problem, and so I had to stop. It was probably the most difficult addiction to get rid of.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to go access.
Yeah, it's
Easy
legal.
access?
It's legal, like you don't have to.
It's like, yeah,
You don't have to like to meet a guy on a scooter to like, hey man,
Yeah,
you
that's
got
right.
the new
You
shit
don't
for
gotta
me.
go to the forest.
Yeah.
You don't gotta dig. You don't gotta
Under the trash bin,
Yeah.
there's a number of someone on
There you go. Call that dude. Yeah,
I'll
no,
give you a donut after.
none of that. None of that. You don't.
Валерий, а что в
Ягоды энергетики.
ягоды энергетик?
Berries and energy drinks.
Okay.
Huh?
Damn.
Yeah.
That's the name of the
Can I try?
episode.
Can I try?
Yeah, of course. Можно вот штуку, пожалуйста?
Конечно. So, that's what the first thing that the Americans did. I read this somewhere on the internet, but I believe it's true. Thank you. I believe it's true. It's when Americans invaded Iraq. Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
They the first thing they did was they opened up like porn channels.
Ah.
Iraq, so
It's not porn channels. I'll tell you what. After the invasion,
Yeah.
what happened with the Iraqi culture at that time? So Iraqis were, let's say, suppressed forever, and
Under
all you
Hussein,
have-
you mean?
Huh?
Under Hussein.
Under Hussein, yeah.
So no porn.
So,
Strict family values.
very strict
Pray.
family values. No.
Oh.
No.
Because they're Shia. They don't give a
The
fuck.
Shias were the guys who were being oppressed. Under
Oh,
Saddam.
okay.
Under
Was
Saddam.
Iraq predominantly Sunni?
Yes.
Ah.
Iraq.
The Ba'ath were Sunni.
But majority Shia.
From certain areas, they were Shia.
Sure.
You had like Baghdad, Sunnis.
I
the
see.
capital.
Okay.
So after him, all you have to do is just let them do what they want, and the moment that happened, just okay. So it's a pressure cooker, and it blew up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened is that, for example, the television channels, you start seeing so many television channels with Iraqi singers, wedding singers, and these singers had video clips of girls. And you know what these girls were? These girls were like, you point like, oh, I want this girl, and you would get this girl.
Oh.
All you have to do is just contact the right person to get you the girl.
On call.
But you had to pay for it.
Yeah, but how much you want to pay? It was in dollars, and the dollar was like $1 billion. Well, not $1 billion, just exaggerated. So that's all they had to do. It's not that they opened porn channels. They just let people go, hey, you're free. You think so?
Right.
Ah.
Yeah. From what I understand, if you tell people you're free to do whatever, most people are going to succumb to their primal instincts.
100%.
The first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna satiate. Basically, turn to the devil's side.
First thing is they're gonna do is they're gonna go to the person who they think like, because what we have in the Arab world are mostly symbols, so we follow symbols.
Okay.
You know, a king, for example, will follow the king. A religious figure, we follow the religious figure.
Okay.
You know? So what's happened in Iraq is after Saddam, and if you know, like when they executed Saddam in 2000, I think was it 6 or 8? I'm iffy on the timeline. But the people who executed him were Shiites.
Cheers, yeah.
In Ramadan, I think on the first day of Eid, on the first day of after Ramadan, the Eid, that was like one of the biggest insults you could imagine, or the Nasir, like fuck you. But of course he gassed 200,000 people. Like 20,000, 200. Like he wiped cities off the.
Then when you talk about numbers, really, I mean, there's no way. Maybe, but like. You look at it like how many people Americans have killed.
Oh no, I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing this. I'm just saying of what he did and what's the blow up part.
I understand. I understand.
That's the thing. So all they did is just, hey, we give you freedom, and people go, we have freedom. We follow. What does the spiritual leader of this certain place says? And he goes, do whatever you want.
Right.
You know. And the guys who don't say it, don't do whatever you want, you would find resistance to him from the same people who are like, no, we should let them.
Yeah, because we're looking at this dude over there over the fence. He's making donuts.
Yeah.
With a stick. Because he has all those channels, dude. I want to do that too. Yeah. No, I understand. There's a time and a place. Sometimes, like, there's one time I didn't pleasure myself for maybe like 5 months.
Oof.
You were so happy at that time.
I was.
You were coming, like, not coming, I'm sorry, not just words, but you were hosting at that time, if I'm not mistaken. There was a time when you used to come to me and say, listen, man, and you would tell me like, hey, man, a month and a half. Haven't touched blah blah.
Yeah, I do it on stage.
You wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. I remember,
just like a dude who started yoga. I'm like, I started yoga.
All he needed is a calendar to show us, hey.
That's right. And but there's a time and a place, and so one day I was just like, you know what? It's been 5 months. I can. And so, like, I lit up some candles, you know, got into my, fancy underwear, I gotta feel nice.
There's this David Tell joke where he goes, I'm really romantic when I masturbate. I light up a candle, I'll try to turn it off with my cum or something like that.
Damn. I can't do that. I'm not that young. I'm not that young anymore. Bill Hicks.
David Tell also is not that young.
Yeah, man.
Dude, David Tell, I have no idea how he's able to, to shoot anything, because he's an old Jew.
Man,
drinks and smokes all the time.
I don't think I've ever seen David Tell not young. From the moment I started watching him, it was just like it was just old.
Makes sense.
It's just like this old grandpa.
He's probably a Scientologist.
Who was the most famous comic that you saw live?
Well, there's I could say 3. Eddie Izzard. I watched them all like here in Russia. Eddie Izzard, Dara O'Brien.
Yeah.
Can you pass it around to people?
And Dylan Moran.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dylan, baby.
Who's the most famous you've ever seen?
Oh, Gaffigan too.
Oh, so Gaffigan.
Yeah, when he came here.
He came here too?
Yeah.
In 2019 or 2001 or.
I remember the last one I saw was Schultz.
Wow, that's 2016?
No.
18.
No, this happened like what?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it was surprise visit. Schultz, and I saw Dylan Moran here as well, and Tommy Tiernan.
Tommy Tiernan. Tommy
Tiernan.
Who was Tommy Tiernan?
He's Irish as well.
Okay, yeah. That was when Dylan Moran was also here. I mean, there was like an Irish week or an Irish.
Yeah, that happened. True, but then Tiernan came on his own, and then Moran came several times on his own. Because it was a dude. His name was he goes by the name of Elvis. Igor Merison. and I remember I forget the
Mearson, Igor Mearson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget the second
It's the
guy.
French guy.
No.
No.
So
He's Russian Jewish.
because I have a small story about
Oh
Igor
yeah, you
Mearson.
told me
Yeah.
about.
I have a story about him too.
Oh.
For me, when I was doing like in comedy in 2018 or something, like I watched when I watched Eddie Izzard,
Yeah.
one of the openers who opened for him was Igor Mearson.
Because he was the one to bring him.
Yeah, and a few years, like 5 years later, and or 4 years later, at the first Punchline Festival,
Yeah.
I was hosting at Jim and Jack's,
Yeah.
and comes like comedian Sasha Malloy and
Yeah.
Vasya Medvedev.
Yeah.
With them comes Igor Mearson.
That's funny.
And I was hosting, and Igor Mearson was like, holy shit! And I introduced him to perform.
Nice.
And I was like, hey man, for me this is a milestone in comedy.
Yeah.
I must be doing something okay, you know?
He's a fun guy, very generous. He messaged me way back when, it was probably like 2016 or 2015, through a guy named Louis Zezran, who used to do English comedy in Finland and Estonia and Latvia, and he had a really good run. He had a bunch of clubs called Comedy Estonia, Comedy Latvia, Comedy Finland, and he was putting up shows.
Creative. Yeah.
Very super smart dude. He Louis used to be, from what I understand, he used to be like a programmer or like some SAP. I think he did SAP. You know, like this enterprise program for like huge corporations. I don't remember exactly what he did, but he was like definitely a smart dude before, an established dude way back, you know when. And then one day he was just like, you know what, screw this. I don't want any of this corporate world anymore. I'd rather be, reinvesting all the shitty money that I make from. I'd rather do comedy somewhere.
So he did comedy, or he just opened comedy clubs?
He opened comedy clubs, and he would host.
Ah, okay.
He would often host as well.
Okay.
He went to Sweden first because he met a Swedish chick, and they were hanging out. He moved from Australia. He moved to Sweden. He opened up a comedy club there. He broke up with the chick. Went to Finland, met a Finnish chick. She went to Finland, opened up a club there. I guess broke up with her, moved to Latvia, moved to Estonia, blah blah blah. Last time I remember he was working out of Estonia. Anyways, and he in a span of maybe like a year or a year and a half, he did more than anybody else did in this like Nordic, Baltic region for English comedy than anybody else, really, alone. Some outsider dude who just came in and just took over. And within a year, he was like a very popular and renowned like organizer, very disciplined, very hardworking, super cool dude, very generous as well. And so Marison contacted him, and he's like, hey, I'm looking for like, do you got any Russians? And he gives Marison my contact. And so at this point, this is like 2015, 2016, my Russian is pretty, because I haven't spoken Russian for maybe like 20 years at that point. It's only English and Finnish. And so Marison is like, hey, we are doing a show in Moscow. It's going to be for TV. So I want you to be on it. He doesn't know me. We've never met. Okay. He's never seen my shit. And he's like, I want you to come over and do it. And obviously, at the time, my head was a little bit
somewhere else
up my ass. And so I was like, oh, finally.
More like up your nose. But
the recognition. No, that came later. The recognition that I deserve, And so I'm like, absolutely, fine, no problem, I'll come. And he's like, well, before we do that, how about you come over to St. Petersburg? Because Marison was based out of St. Petersburg. Why don't you come over? You'll stay with me, stay at my place. Couple of days, and we'll go and do some shows in Russian. And I'm like, easy peasy, no problem. I show up St. Petersburg. I show up to his place. I meet his girl. I'm staying at their house. Everything's super nice. They got a nice place. And we're sitting in the kitchen, and Marison is like, well, just come on, just give me a rundown of what am I going to hear today in front of like 100 people. And I start, because I thought in my head, I'm a superstar. So I start translating what I had for, the Finnish audience in English, and I start translating it into Russian. And again, Russian's shitty. Obviously, this is for the Finns and not for the. Anyways, after like 15 minutes, he's like, wow. He understood what kind of shit, what kind of pile of done he got himself into. And he's like, yeah, we need to work on this. And so immediately he starts giving me, like, I had a couple of good setups, but he starts immediately throwing out tags for, okay, add this here, add this here, add this here.
Oh.
Yeah. And so we get in the car that evening, we drive to Pittergoff, which is like an hour and a half away from St. Petersburg. And it's like a full crowd. It's like, I don't know, like 80 people. And first Marison goes out and he kills. Everybody knows him. Yeah. He's super funny, and then the second guy goes up and he does his thing too. He's so passionate and so emotional, and everybody's just almost like on the verge of crying, but then they start laughing. It's like a big breakthrough. Mm-hmm. And then I go up, and dude, I suck. I suck.
Are you on something or
no?
No.
He's high on himself.
I was high on me, yeah. This shit right here. And I don't even remember, the things that I said because it was just so horrible. And in the middle of the thing, after like 5-10 minutes, nobody even smiled. Everybody was just like, who the fuck is this guy? Bring Marison back.
If it's in a Russian audience and nobody smiled,
it's not a sign. It's not a sign you're doing bad. That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
But I have a question. Was it because I know a little bit of your set? So was it like the dirty stuff?
So, yeah, some of it.
Because something I admire you in comedy, and this is I love, is that you have one gear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna drive like on the sixth gear.
We're only doing extreme.
240 kilometers a second. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if you guys are.
Especially, I mean, now I try to tailor it a little bit. A little bit.
Now it's more political.
It's a little more political, but now at least like if I see like a bunch of chicks in the audience, it's like, all right, we're not gonna do, anti-chick material, which came from a place I hate, really. Like all of the stuff about women that I would say is would be from just living through different moments of my life where I felt like I was wronged. And so this was kind of like a rebuttal, like for all the times that I came up to chicks in bars and I'd be like, hey, what's just like like sperm overload, and they're just like, hey, can I get you a drink? And she's like, oh, go away, stupid. And like for all those times, that's where that came from. But I guess I outlived that, and so now I'm more focused on on the Jews. It's weird. It's really weird. It's really, really, really weird. But I guess it just leads back to like all of those conspiracy theories and how how everything is set up, because there's got to be an end to the hierarchy. Like, where's the end?
What do you mean, like an end? As in like sort like?
Like
you mean like someone?
Who's running the shit? Who's running the shit? So money.
The IMF. International Monetary Fund.
I believe that's not even the middle.
No, I believe that is the. You know what?
I really don't think that's because that's what they told us in business school.
That's what this is what I experienced.
Is in charge of like all the monetary policy in the world.
Anything that destroys a country. The IMF?
No, absolutely.
They're the ones who give the money.
IMF are from the devil. World Bank is from the devil. BIC is from the devil.
Even the devil sits and writes notes from them.
Right. Yeah. Evil.
Man,
evil people.
I was reading about them giving money to a certain country's dictator. Like he's known of ripping the heads off people.
Murder.
And they just went, okay, here's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You want $3 trillion? We can give you.
No problem.
Yeah,
even though we know that we're going to give you this $1 trillion, and only $10 million is actually going to go into economy, because 2.8 blah 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 trillion is going to go to your cousin, to your relatives, to your mom, to your
whatever
dad.
You're gonna build, but nobody's gonna live it.
All of that shit, most of it is probably going to stay in the countries that are originally funding the IMF, because
Exactly.
where are you planning to go after you
but
fuck up your own shit over here?
Where are you
You're
gonna
go
put
to
that
London.
money in, you know?
That's right. You're gonna go to London, Switzerland. You're gonna go to fucking Luxembourg,
Yeah.
Liechtenstein, all that shit.
One thing about this one, when I was like reading about the IMF and like listening about what they do, one of the most fun things that I did is I started reading who's in the board of the IMF.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now I get it.
So who's in the board of the IMF?
Mostly Americans, British. These are the two main people, and I think it's one or two who are like from the USA, who like they give the stamp. Should we give or should we not give? You know. But one thing I liked about them is
no
that
blacks.
Man, if you're black, you can only reach president of the United States. You cannot reach.
You can't go IMF. I'm sorry, sir, Mr. Obama. You can't be.
No, go do your conferences about Black History Month.
Yeah. Go back to the bathhouse. Go back to the bathhouse, Bear.
But it's so much like fun how. So I'd say it's the word fun.
Yeah.
Because to see how a country deteriorates over like 2 to 3 years from the moment the IMF starts
Giving
considering them for fun. Because they tell them you have, for example, to raise taxes, to raise like the prices of customs.
Pension age.
Pensions has to disappear. Pension age, pension age. That's
increase pension age, cut social spending.
Fuck your schools.
Yeah,
Who needs education?
That's
Make them work for you.
That's right.
And I was like, holy shit,
That's
this is so much fun.
Then again, all these people they come from somewhere.
What again? It's what I like about them is there's like a committee.
You like committees.
But
You
I
like
really like this idea of committee because
this is a committee right now.
this is a very fun committee that three broke guys.
We would never get anything done.
Oh man, definitely. But to be honest, we got one thing done.
No, this is a great setup. I'm really surprised they let you. First of all, they let you in. Second of all, you're from Egypt, then?
Yeah.
You're Egypt. You're from Jordan. I feel like if I was in the middle, I feel like I'd be.
You've been the Bukaki,
I'd be fucking Palestine right now.
Actually, I'm Palestinian.
No, you're not.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were Jordanian.
I have a Jordanian passport, but my origins are Palestinian.
Oh, that's why you're so educated.
That's why I love the world and I'm oppressed. But also, you consider that the world owes me something.
From what I understand, Palestinians are like up until recently, like 50 years ago, 60 years ago, Palestinians were like the most educated Arabs.
They are still one of the most educated Arabs because the same with Brazil. Brazil is football.
Yeah.
Why are like Brazil have so many footballers? Because of poverty. Because of again, from poverty, strong people come out. Egypt has I forgot like how many engineers.
Oh.
But they're not in Egypt. They're all abroad.
We have the one guy.
Really?
There's this Egyptian guy.
Engineers?
No, Zuel is not an engineer. Zuel is
he's chemical.
chemical. Yeah.
And they have one guy in NASA. But these are the most famous. And the Egyptians who used to study like, let's say rocket fuel and all of this, they were all assassinated. They were all killed. And here's the funny part. A few of them were killed in the U.S. And there was no there was no like
investigation.
They never continued the investigation about them. About these scientists who got brutally murdered.
Dude,
speaking of engineers, because like the one of the most famous like engineers, he built the roads in Germany. So if you ever wonder, why the roads in Germany are so
because of an Egyptian engineer.
It was
Damn.
He built the whole fucking.
I thought it was Hitler.
Well, some people say Hitler's father was Egyptian. So yeah, but
wow, that's
that's BS.
That explains a lot.
I've never heard. I mean,
that explains the paintings.
I've never heard that one before. But dude, if it's no surprise that they're not investigating the death of Egyptian engineers in the U.S. because.
But this was in the 50s, right? This was like 50s to 70s, yeah.
Right, but I don't think anything has really changed. It's just that the coverage has changed, but the media cycle is so quick these days. Even if something absolutely dramatic happens, for example, how many months ago was it? Somebody from like the State Department of the U.S. or somebody, they came out, or NASA came out, and they're like, yes, there are extraterrestrials, there are aliens, they exist, and it's like it was on the news for like a day, and everybody's like,
yeah. It's
whatever.
You know what it's like.
Back to Kim Kardashian's ass.
This is gonna sound very like brutal, you could say, like.
It's so funny when you say brutal.
If we take Syria for example, Syria since 2011, 12, there are literally like I could say hundreds of thousands of Syrians who disappeared from the record, died, disappeared, all that, and nobody cares about it. It's because of the numbers. The numbers are too high. Plus, they're not white. So let's say this.
All right.
Yeah.
I see.
So nobody like gives a shit. If the number is too big, nobody gives a shit. Look at like what's happening, like for example, between Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
If the number is too big, this happened. Yeah, we saw it happen. Palestine recently.
It's not in the news anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Israel's just bombing like hospitals, like
not all the
like with determination. Is that women and children?
You say bombing, my
That's
man.
napalm.
There was, and this is a comedy thing. There's this something about it is they found 180 people who like they were shot, and Israel was saying, "Oh, these people were resisting. Like, how can they resist? They had handcuffs on them behind their backs, and they like it was a mass grave."
Yeah. Shot in the head.
Yeah. And they're like, how? And this was, I think, Sky News or like one news agency who were interviewing an Israeli official.
Yeah.
And the official was like, "Oh, yeah, they were dangerous. How do you know they were not? They didn't have a grenade." And even the reporter or like the newscaster was like, she just you could see her face going,
wow.
But they were like handcuffed. Like it was clear.
Yeah.
And this is your footage.
There's this thing you were.
Yeah.
I saw like it was this video. It was on Telegram. How like the Israel was bombing people and they just like from a helicopter they would like fucking with the like the night vision stuff. They would just find them and they would just throw a bomb on them. And
You have to make sure that you're not in Call of Duty. Like, there's a because this happened sort of like in 2016. There was news about a certain place where they were like bombing terrorists, and then they found out that this is footage taken from a video game. You know?
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
And they were running with it. And like, guys, this is.
By the way, this is Modern Warfare 3.
This was John. He was a very good player. You know, he plays in the leagues. But nobody gives a shit.
Yeah. No, dude. Technology these days. I do these things. I host this channel for about like AI and stuff on YouTube, and every week it's like I'm reading these news about your entire persona can be just copied. All you have to do is you have to just speak into the mic, feed your voice to an AI, feed your image to an AI, give it a couple of these, and within 10 minutes you'll have your digital avatar that's gonna behave like you, gonna say shit like you would say.
What's I want to go with the positives of this.
Yeah.
What would be the positives of this?
I mean, porn, number one.
So you can put anybody's face.
Deep fake stuff happens a lot.
Dude, deepfakes are like 15 years old.
Yeah, but now they're getting really good.
They were already really good back, but it was just face substitution. I already saw this maybe like 10 to 15 years ago, and already I was just like, holy shit, this is incredible. But only now it's becoming where you
more prominent. And it's becoming the norm.
Now it's totally it's not acceptable because everybody's trying to be like, oh, let's label this shit so people know. Yeah. But eventually, sometimes I look at an image and I'm like, I'm not entirely sure if this is a real thing.
The thing that actually was shocking to me is this people that they tested the IQ of AI and it was actually pretty dumb. It was only 47 and a half.
Yeah, because how does but it depends. I think there's AI that's already advanced, but we're not allowed to know about it for now. or not?
I mean, I believe so too.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's, but again, back to the question hierarchy. Who's
in control?
who's the main gorilla? I believe it's indeed either some sort of. I mean, let's start with the fact that this is most likely a simulation. Like our life is a simulation. Like we can feel. Like if I pinch him, we can feel it, and like
Matrix.
we can feel pleasure and everything like that. But basically, in the end, I feel like when we go to sleep, we go back home, and when we die, when our bodies die, we go back home, and it's just like one huge job interview.
Do you believe, like,
When you wake up after like this death in this world, you wake up and it's like, oh, like Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, cool, you went back to you had cancer, and you went back to the same store selling carpets for the next 20 years after. What a dumb shit, check this out. And he goes on and lives a life and comes back.
That's like a question. Like, so let's say if we're out of this simulation, would you think there would be chaos, or there would be...
No, I believe it's very structured.
Yeah, we would structure ourselves.
I believe this. There's different levels. I believe like once we go back home, that's not the end.
Home where? Like home isn't like.
Like when we go to sleep and we go somewhere, like our consciousness goes somewhere.
Okay.
Same thing with this, and because energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transformed into something else.
Yeah.
And so I believe that it's not just we die and like we get to like heaven or whatever, and it's like all right, now we can chill until eternity.
I'll tell you something fun. Like my uncle, who's like he's a religious Muslim, and every now and again he just goes off. Like he does say something wild. So Nikolai, I don't want to listen to your training to be an imam. I get it.
Death to America. Death to America.
And the one thing that one day he just like we're sitting the whole family, and almost all of my family like were religious at that time, except my father.
Guess he's a smart boy.
Oh man, well, A plus, like he was an A student in atheism, so yeah. So one thing, like he just goes off. He goes out of the blue, like there's silence, nobody's talking. They're playing cards and all this, and then he goes, "What if there's no heaven or hell?" That means I spent the last 40 years of my life for nothing.
Yeah.
And I was just there, and I just let it go. So for me, like you needed religion to set you straight. Like I think there's a bit of a hypocrisy in it.
That's funny. That's funny.
Although what I should like from Islam, when Prophet Muhammad came to
the world.
The world came to like where he preached Islam at the beginning.
Sure.
He told the people there is I'm only here to supplement your ethics. So that means that they already had ethics. Of course they killed
girls.
Newborn girls, but they had ethics.
Why?
Because you needed to have a boy.
If your firstborn was a girl.
If your firstborn is a girl,
you just buried her alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was there, was like, oh, I'm only
such
here.
a waste of potential. You could have been smart.
If they didn't have fake eyelashes at them. That's why they didn't know.
No, they didn't have Jews. Because if there was at least one Jew somewhere there, they'd be like, hey buddy, like you're getting rid of this anyway. Why don't you give her to me, and I'll raise her, like I'll invest my time for about 10 years and then I'll sell her off later too. Because, slavery.
That wasn't something that the Jews were doing.
Slavery?
Yeah.
Not at the time, but slavery, between Africa and America, U.S. slavery, that's like 100% Jews.
I don't know.
Can you elaborate more on that?
I'm telling you right now, all the ships...
Your friend told you.
My friend told me. Yeah, my little friend that sits on my shoulder every once in a while. Come on. He has a mustache like this. No. The Jews, because the Jews have been expelled from, so many countries, and this is the standard theory from, they're from Israel, they went two different routes. One route was, through...
You mean
Caucasus, through the mountains and into, like, Poland and the Pale settlement. Pale settlement? I think that's what it's called. And then the The other route was through Northern Africa, all the way to Morocco, and they every single place they went to, they got kicked out,
Well,
and then they ended up in Spain. From Spain, they went out to Portugal. From Portugal, they wanted to
when did they
Holland.
reach Spain? Fucking, do you have, like, I know something about them is that
Fuck.
in that when the
Like
when,
1200s,
when the Islamic Empire was like in its
1300s.
when the Islamic Empire was in its like its was
Hi-
rising.
yeah.
So for example, they reached Andalusia.
Yeah,
You know, even if you go to
that's Spain.
Yeah,
Spain,
if you
yeah.
go to
Spain
Spain,
mountains.
yes, if you go to Spain, a lot of the cities are named are still named like after Arabic, like they still retain their name.
Sure.
You know?
Mhm.
And what happened there is that they had the Jews with them, and so in Islam, if you're not a Muslim, you pay kind of taxes. You know?
Okay.
But people make mistakes say, oh, so if you're not a Muslim, you have to pay the tax. Like, no, but also the Muslims pay taxes. So like it was the same.
And but also the Muslims were the ones who got drafted and everything. So it's like
You know,
it's
yeah.
like one of those thingies.
So what happened?
But not the
is,
Jews.
No,
No, they wouldn't.
like not the
not
Jews,
the
not
Jews,
the
the
Christians,
Christians.
not the non-believers, whatever you are. So you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, you pay us taxes, and just in case of a war or anything, the Muslims are gonna protect you, basically.
Right.
You know?
That was-
And so, but after it, I forgot the name. I think it was Ferdinand, the king who
It's a
got
really cool
Spain,
name.
like got let's say he got Spain back to Europe. You know, to the Christian the Christian part is what they did. Is if you're not a Christian or you didn't convert to Christianity,
Mhm.
they would offer your head. So like,
Right, so
when
a lot of
when
Jews would
when the Muslims left,
convert.
the Jews left with them.
Oh.
Because they were like, fuck no, I'm not staying with you, crazy motherfuckers. I'm
Right.
forever to stay with Muhammad, not with
Right.
you.
Right.
You know, because the Muslims didn't force them to become Muslims.
Right.
So that's one thing of how they, I think, how they like moved to Morocco to all of those like areas.
Morocco
Of course, I
first.
can be correct.
From what I understand, they made a little U-turn, and then they ended up in Holland, and that's when they got their that's when they realized, we can do something about this.
But fucking man, to be honest, like right now, one thing, it's funny. It's how we look at it. I'll give you an example of Dubai, for example. But
Yeah.
this was some time ago. Is when you see, for example, you see Arabs, who are heads of companies.
Sure.
Mhm.
Under them, there's no Arabs. There's
No?
they would have Indians or whatever because an Arab didn't trust another Arab.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because when I go to another country,
Yeah.
that means I want to work because I have to send that money back to my family.
Okay.
So I'll do my best to be a good worker,
Yeah.
to get promoted.
Okay.
And if I do that, I might take the job of another one.
So
But the Indians,
they don't want to get squeezed out of the job.
basically, but the
Wow.
Indians, for example, if an Indian gets a high job, he would try to get other jobs for Indians under him.
Yeah.
You know, keep it in the family.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they do.
You know, and that's what also the Jews is. And to be honest, for me, I kind of respect that idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
You know?
They have agency.
Well,
yes,
Arabs,
they-
we keep it in the family in different terms,
Different
you know.
terms.
Come on.
It is business in our country.
I
Yeah.
don't think so. I think he's talking about what's that thing called where you take 10-year-old boys?
Being a Russian. You know.
That's
No,
called
definitely
called
not.
not being an Arab, definitely.
No, but Arabs don't do that.
Arabs
No.
don't do that?
Yeah, that's actually a very
Or is that like Afghanistan?
no.
That's probably Afghanistan.
I don't know. Well, I know, but Afghanistan have too much.
Afghanistan has a lot of everything.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're
But the thing, like, I heard the stereotype about like the little boys thing,
yeah.
and I was like, man, don't mistake us for Catholics. Don't
yeah.
mistake us. You know, there's a bit.
If anybody knows anything about little boys, it's definitely Catholic.
Don't project on us, motherfuckers. You know, don't change the subject.
Isn't it weird how like this entire notion of Catholic Church and being like pedophiles and everything
And
is
it's
so
gone in an instant.
is so like, but it's like ingrained. Everybody, you can just say like, oh, just Catholic priest, and everybody's like,
Nah, they already know.
Probably one Catholic priest fucked up
But-
for everybody else.
But still, yeah, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think it's a lot. I think a lot of that shit
Yeah.
is going on. But
So it didn't come out of nowhere.
But like, cause the Catholic they can't fuck. Yeah, if you're a priest, you can't fuck. You can't have a wife. Or is that the nuns?
No, there's
I think
also
you
the
could have
priest.
a wife.
Ah,
The priest.
I know the altar boy can't fuck.
Wow. he cannot pitch,
I
he
don't
can
know.
receive.
Yeah, he only
I've
receives.
never been an altar boy. I've never been pretty enough to be selected to be an
Oh,
altar boy.
Nikolai, have you seen your nipples?
I mean, I mean, as a kid, I was a little chubby,
Ah.
Were you
hairy boy.
were you at any point in your life religious?
I mean, I'm religious now in the sense that I believe we should follow the follow Muhammad and follow Jesus and follow all the basic principles. Do unto your neighbor as you would do unto yourself. That rings true to me. But in terms of like full on organized religion, I had my first run in was with Orthodox religion when I think it was like 9th grade, 10th grade. I was probably like 14. Out of nowhere, I come home from school one day. This is just a random Tuesday. I come home from school and sit down to lunch. And mom, dad, we're just sitting down, and all of a sudden, mom and dad stand up, and they take out a book and they start reading and they start praying, and they're like, "Get up." To me, and I'm like,
out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
You've never done this before.
Monday we sat down to lunch. It was just like, hey, how's it going? All good. How's school? Yeah,
How's the orgy? Fine.
I'm gonna look. The orgies came later.
Oh, okay.
And then Tuesday, boom, stand up. We have to pray, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And they're like, no. So we have a big fight, and I'm just fucking no. I'm sitting and eating. I'm not doing this. But they continued doing this for a while. And I mean, I wondered how long that would last. It lasted for a long time. It lasted for about maybe 3.
The
4.
prayer.
Yeah, the prayer every day.
No, I'm saying like that one prayer before dinner. I mean.
Every day, morning and evening.
Do you think it was a prank? Because we went out and was like, let's see how it goes with him.
I want to know like what you made the change in there. Like why did
I know what did. My parents started hanging out with this couple who were they were Russians, but they were like, I mean, I don't know if they were loaded, but they were like very well off. They were very well off, and so they started hanging out with these people, and then after a while, it didn't take a long time, since they started hanging out. After a while, somehow I think it creeped into their heads like, oh, these people who are loaded are very, very religious. They go to church. They their kids sing. Their kids are like altar boys, and they pray and they donate to the church, and that's probably why all of their shit's together and everything's fantastic. And us, like, we've never been like rich or anything like that. I mean, I've always had everything that I ever needed, but it was never like like a fucking Bentley or. It was never like that. It was just like, if we have to go somewhere, we have the means to go, but it's never going to be like a Rolls Royce type of thing. It's not going to be a red carpet. It's not going to be flamingos and canapes. It's just going to be like basic human shit. Like, if we gotta go, we gotta go. But these other people, they're fancy. Yeah. And so I believe that my parents saw this and they were like,
this is how.
This is our way to the top. We just gotta pray, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're gonna be loaded. Nobody told them. It's just hard work, discipline, and determination, and all of a sudden you'll get what you need. And positive thinking. It's very important. It's good. Sorry.
So this is an error thing. If I don't see you smoking, like
that's
I'll pass to the bridge. Yeah.
The secret to life is first of all you have to believe. The secret to
what?
The secret to success. That's the whole thing. That's the beauty of life. You can believe in anything you want, and whatever your goal may be, all you have to do is you have to believe that you can achieve it. That's number one. That's the prerequisite. If you don't have belief, it doesn't matter what comes next. That's step number one. You have to believe that it is achievable for you. Maybe not for other people because they don't believe or they don't have the capabilities, but you yourself believe that A, anything is possible, and B, with the right amount of work, discipline, dedication, obsession, basically.
Yeah.
You will get to where you need to get. Can't read, can't write. Sit down and study.
I know a guy here. I know a guy here who can't read or write, and I'm not joking. He can't read or write,
Yeah.
and he is the head chef of like a big restaurant. And not only that, he's the one who built this franchise of restaurants.
Wow.
And a lot of the embassies,
Yeah.
they go to him to
Wow.
make food for them.
Nice. Nice.
And I remember I was like man, like at least know something.
Yeah.
At least he goes, fuck off.
I don't know. Yeah.
All they have to do is just tell me what should I make? Hummus. That's it. I'll make my own hummus. You don't have to.
He found his niche.
Yeah.
He found his niche. I mean, those people are the happiest people in the world.
Yeah.
Because if you find what you're good at, and you stick to not necessarily just one thing, you know, because there's this famous quote, I forget who said it, but it was like a chess player. He said, if you know how to play chess, that is, you know, a sign of intellect. But if you know how to play chess well, that is a sign of a wasted life. Because you're just focused on a game your entire life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, which is why if you look at the world chess champion Magnus Carlsen, this dude has like he's so versatile. So he's not only is he like a genius in chess, and he didn't even want to defend his title because he's just like it's boring. Like I don't want to play. Let's change the regiment. Let's change the terms and conditions of these tournaments, and then I'll come and play. But otherwise, I'm not because it's boring for me. I got other shit to do. And on top of that, he's like a supermodel. He does whatever streams. He's like a media personality. He does so much shit.
Yeah, he has a very good public relations.
I mean, he's really good at PR. But like when you talk to him, you can see like this dude is. He's talented not only in this thing, and it's not just talent, but he really applied himself. He really worked on this and blah 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 blah. But also he's really good at a plethora of other industries. And so it's about this fire inside to live, because a lot of people I feel just just close themselves off, and they're just like I'd rather stick this one little thing and.
Now here's another question. So when you say about like how this determination, everybody has like, for example, determination to do something, but they cannot stick with it. Yeah. Now the question would be, how can someone be taught or get the knowledge to stick to something they want? And what would that be?
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. It's a skill just like everything else. It's basically willpower. It's doing things that you don't want to do. And Andrew Huberman, Jew most likely, but fucking ripped, dude. He's fantastic. He talks about this on his podcast. He talks about a specific area. He's a neuroscientist, and he talks about a specific area in the brain that is responsible for. I don't remember what it's responsible.
Is it the same one for masturbation?
No. I mean, it's linked to it, obviously. It's linked to it. So he says that this part of the brain grows if you do things that you don't want to do. And it shrinks if you do only the things that you like to do. And so how I found out about this is because I was listening to Huberman's podcast with David Goggins. David Goggins is
Goggins, who was Goggins?
He's this bald black guy who's like never give up, and he's like I run like 50 miles a day, blah blah blah.
So he's the real version of Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, probably. Like he's Dwayne The Rock Johnson minus the steroids, probably.
And the fakeness. Yeah.
I mean, Dwayne Johnson said that he wakes up at like 5 or 6 in the morning, does a cardio session, then has breakfast, then does a weightlifting session, and then he goes on about his day. that's pretty, it's pretty difficult to do when you're already like a millionaire and you don't have to do anything. But that's the whole point. You do things that you don't want to do, especially when you don't have to do them.
Yeah.
And if you can overcome that, if you can train your willpower to just be like, if it's showtime right now.
And that is my question.
Yeah.
How do you train it?
You just do it.
Again, so what are the steps? Because it's the same with learning a language, you know?
Yeah.
You taught English, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
right? I teach English. Some of the things that happens with students is
Yeah.
they cannot continue. You know, they for example, reach a point, but they cannot. So how do you train someone, as you said, like this willpower, everything, you know? How do you make it grow? What are the steps to train?
My approach to, so like I have a couple of private students, but I don't actually like teach them. We just sit down and talk.
Same with me. Yeah.
And they don't really pay me for the teaching skills that I have. It's mostly about energy exchange, and it's like kind of like therapy. Like they'll tell me how their day went.
Yeah.
And I'll share my thing, and we'll exchange, but it will be in English. And if there's something there's a word they don't understand, or maybe they wanna upgrade some of their grammar or whatever, or vocab, like I
send them to another teacher.
No, I can give them that.
I outsource that shit.
I give them that. But predominantly it's just us like hanging out. Really.
Yeah, but
that's what it feels like. So that doesn't really feel. That wouldn't be a really good example for me. But I can take myself as an example. That was a big problem for me. Like I had zero willpower.
Mm-hmm.
None. Like I couldn't get myself to do anything. Sometimes I just spend I should get up, but I'm still in bed and I'm on my phone, and I know I have to do the dishes, I have to call, 10 people, I have to write a thing, I have to go walk the dog, I have to blah, 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 blah. Oh shit, it's already been 3 hours, I've already masturbated twice. And
twice, don't lie.
I mean, yeah. And it's already like midday, but I'm still in bed.
Uh-huh.
And so that was for a long time, that was me. And so, what I did was I tasted a little bit of success.
Uh-huh.
It was like the universe giving me a chance. It was a corporate party. It was about a year ago, and I feel like my journey only started like a year ago with building willpower. I get this corporate gig, and I show up, and I was okay looking, and like I was just average, and I show up, and I'm surrounded by 50 really smart, like brilliant, educated, good-looking, professional people, and I have to be on their level because I'm here. I'm hosting, so technically I'm the authority. Yes. I'm supposed to show up. I can't be like nobody's gonna respect. There's gonna be zero respect, and so like I show up. It was difficult for me. I really tried. I feel like I pulled it off, but on the drive back home, I was like, shit. Like this was very intense. And like I felt so many times that I was so close to losing them in terms of respect and just energy. And so the next day I just started doing the thing, the most dreaded thing that I could think of at the time, which was like my little exercise routine. And so 13th of October last year, I woke up and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna
Juice.
No. Juice had nothing to do with it. Juice had nothing to do with it. Although in the long run, I feel like I'm building my mind. I'm protecting my mind from Jewish media influence. by doing this. But yeah, so it just started just like David Goggins says with him. It started off as exercise. Through exercise, he built self-esteem, and that self-esteem gave him the pride to communicate with people on the same level, regardless of who they were, because in his words. He couldn't be open and honest with people because he always felt like if he opened up he'd be judged.
Yeah.
Because he judged himself, not that other people judged him. And so I had the same thing. And so what he says is you have to build pride in yourself, but pride can't come from just nothing. You have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort, so that you know what you did. And by knowing that, you have the confidence to actually show up and speak to, interact with anybody. And so, 13th of October last year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my exercise thing for 30 days, every day. And before that, I would do it once a week.
Yeah.
If that. Sometimes once in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If that. Because it's really difficult to do. It takes about 30 minutes, but it's really intense. And I dread it. It sucks. I get super sweaty. I get sore. It's really, it's shit. It's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, you know what? I got this corporate gig, and I did well, but it was intense, and I felt very close. I felt like I was walking a tightrope. I was on the verge. I don't want to be in that position anymore. What I want to do is next time this I don't have anything on the docket right now. Like there's no corporate events coming my way at the moment. But if somebody calls me tomorrow and says, Nikolai, in a week, there's going to be a thing and you have to show up. I want to look my best.
Yeah.
I want to be my best. I want to be so that when I show up, I'm not in that position anymore where I'm sweating balls because I feel like I'm not enough.
Yeah.
For this crowd, for this audience.
So to learn a language, exercise.
To learn a language, you need to dedicate a specific. You need to allocate a lot.
To learn English, you can call me +7.
One thing about what you said.
A specific amount of time, and
is
just
that
stick to it.
This was like a few years ago when I was doing my masters.
Yeah.
We had like people who came from like Sweden, from Spain, and all this. They came here to Russia. They were doing something about 3D printing, like the innovation part, like of and I was with them. I was
3D printing in Russia.
This is
There is a lot of.
Are you sure we can talk about this? This might be some secret stuff.
No.
Okay, just guys.
I don't know.
Close your eyes and don't listen to
I don't know.
So
3D printing in Russia. That's
man. There's a lot of this innovation thing like here in Russia, but the problem is, I'll tell you one thing that it has a small problem.
Yeah.
So there was one woman who was with something called, I forgot the names, foundation. So what they do is they go to a different part of the world. They see your project, they like your project, they give you funding for it. You know? So she came here to Russia. We went to some of those 3D lab places, and one of them, they saw her and they were expecting her. And how they were treating her was very interesting for me because they were kind of like she was treated like a queen. Even she herself were like, why are you guys treating her? You know, and she came from the US. What are you guys doing? You don't need to do this. I just came here to check what you guys have. And one thing that drew her attention was mounted like on a tank gun. They 3D printed, like they made like a project to do this gun. And she was like, why do you have this? What if I'm gonna give you funding? I don't want you to give funding for you to build weapons. I want to give you funding to build something that helps the kids. This is some of those schools do.
It does not something.
Some Israeli kids.
Well,
We drop it off in Palestine.
the Palestinians had nothing. You know, and one thing about this is, I remember when we left, she was telling me like they think if they kiss my ass, basically, they get funding like instantly. That's not how it works. Another thing that we were sitting, the Russian guys were very nice people, you know? And like these people who came from Europe, these guys were the leading people in innovating like from this again 3D labs, programming and all. and they were asking each one, what do they do? So this person, he has like this a company, and they come to me. I'm a public relations student, I teach English, that's all good.
Translate.
And I translate, I'm an interpreter. And I go, well, I do comedy. I'm a stand-up comedian, and the Russians laugh. I don't care about this, but what really was the Swedish guy, I think he was Swedish, but anyway, he was like, why are you guys laughing? These guys are the most amazing people because they teach us how to talk on conferences. They teach us how to behave, how to even stand on stage.
Right.
And all this, and this gave me kind of a boost.
Yeah.
And after about a year later, I remembered them because I got asked, someone they had a conference in front of 1,000 people, and they were like, I have stage fright. And I heard like you come and all of this. I was like, yeah, could you teach me? And it's like about 2 months, I was teaching this person how to get on stage, how to even promote a microphone. How to talk, how to sound, delivery, and everything. And I was like, what you said, how this gives you something.
You have to do things that are difficult for you to do.
Yeah.
Even after you do the stuff that's difficult to do, one thing is you're not always gonna reach your end goal. But yeah, if you do, like let's say you're bad or you're not funny and you do comedy, it doesn't automatically gonna make you a comedian,
No, but
Just so yeah. I mean, unless you just wanna.
It's not about this. It's what we talked about this before. There's a goal that you set for yourself from learning this thing. This person who wanted to learn how to get on stage, he had a goal for him, which was I want to look my best. One thing I told him about how to dress. Don't go in a suit. Yeah. Oh, but believe me, man, I'm a good dresser, but I told them not to get on stage with it in a suit.
Yeah, that pushes you away.
Yeah, not only pushes you, I told you, it's you yourself. When you're in a suit, you force yourself, you think this is the only way to relax, what's the most thing that you relax?
Unless you feel the most comfortable in a suit, like Jimmy Carr.
No, that again. But how long has Jimmy Carr been Jimmy Carr? We're not talking about someone who's never been on stage.
Sure.
All they did was in a conference they had their PowerPoint, and I remember I was watching something from this person, and they were pointing at the PowerPoint presentation and with a laser, and you can see the laser just going up and down.
Sounds like it's shaky, man.
But the thing is that they had a goal for it, you put milestones, goals for it. That I'm not going to become a stand-up comedian. It's not his aim or this person. It's not to become a stand-up.
Yeah.
Their aim is I want to be comfortable on stage.
Yeah.
They were not looking at like this.
My point is no matter how hard you work, but it's something that you're just not meant to make it. That's what I feel.
I think that's.
I don't know.
Sorry, that's you. That's a person quitting.
No. I'm not saying he's quitting. He continues just working hard. I don't think again, this thing was maybe you thought about me once since university.
Yeah. Let's take the movie as a best.
Yeah. It's just an example. No, it's just an example.
I don't want movies.
Like my Wazowski. My Wazowski wanted to be a scary or everything, and he worked hard, but he wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, maybe because he wasn't wearing a suit, that makes him look scary, maybe. He was looking at it from one direction.
Maybe he was wearing a suit, and he's not to be Jimmy Carr or whatever.
Point of reaching your goal is not necessarily reaching the goal. It's doing work to try to reach the goal, because on the way to it's doing something. While you're trying to reach that goal, you might all of a sudden get interests just jumping out at you, and you might veer, and you might go in another direction. But you wouldn't have ever done this had you started trying to reach the goal. original. And so, but any goal is attainable. Anybody can do anything if they apply themselves. And obviously, you know, there's limits to everything. So for example, like I'm never going to be like an athlete.
Yeah.
So like, if I want to go, you know, track and or whatever, like javelin thrower or whatever. My time is out. There's never. I'm never going to be that. That's.
I mean, you can transition to the one league.
I can announce myself to be Nikolai.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I throw straw and I'll be number one.
Yeah.
I thought of that. I gave that up. And so. What was I saying about my exercise? Is that I said 30 days to myself, and I did day one, and I was very motivated. Fuck yeah! Like I did this day one, cha-ching. I did this next day, and the second day I'm standing there. I don't have to. I don't need to go anywhere. Like I don't have to go to the gym. It's just like I'm standing there and I'm staring at the floor because I know that the next 25 minutes is going to suck. It's going to hurt. It's going to be really shitty. And it took.
Stop talking about standard.
That moment gave me like it increased that area in my brain where I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to fucking lose. And so I just I went back to why are you doing this? Oh, you're doing this because if you get a call today and they say there's a corporate event tomorrow, you have to be your best. So you have to fucking do this now. Shit. Okay. And so second day, boom. Third day, boom. And it's just slowly, bit by bit. Whereas now, I'm on. I mean, I skipped a couple of days. It wasn't like every day. I did 30 days, and I realized, you know what? It's like November, and I did 30 days, and I'm fine. I'm fine. You know what? I'm gonna do it till New Year's, and I continued doing it until New Year's, and every time. There were ups and downs. There were times where I felt like I was hungover, and I wasn't alone, and all of a sudden there's so many different things that I had to do, but I still just basically step over myself, step over the old me to get to the new me. And so I would shed this. I don't want it. It's gonna hurt. I don't like it. What are you gonna do? You can skip one day. It's totally fine. No, motherfucker. You're getting it and you're doing it. You're getting it. And what helped me is at the end of my sessions, I usually take a screenshot. And back in October, I would take a screenshot and I would send it to maybe like two people, or maybe one person, and send it to Adrian because he works out, so he knows. And so I send it to Adrian, and Adrian will give me a thumbs up, like, good man. And then the next day, I'd send it to him again, and he would, give me another, like, attaboy. Now, I didn't stop after New Year. I continued, and so now I have like 200 something days of every day, exercise. Sobriety as well, yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, this doesn't count. This has never been, alcohol has never been like I can live without, it's fine. I mean, I can live without anything, that's fine. But sorry. Now, I have a total of probably like 10 people.
Yeah.
So I've gathered, I've got Adrian plus 9 other people who I take a screenshot every day of this exercise that I do. And they all, but now, the funny thing is now, they ask me if there's a day that I skip for whatever reason. Now they message me. They're like, Nikolai, where's the thing? And it gives me like another. My mother, she would do that too. Like sometimes I wouldn't be able to do it in the morning when I have to take my kid to school. So I would wake up at like 5:30 in the morning, start making my kid breakfast. Because I don't want her to eat school food, and so I'm cooking, and oatmeal's on the stove, rice or whatever, like couscous is it's there, bacon is in the oven, blah blah blah, whatever. I already chopped everything. Everything's ready to go. You just need to pack it up and the juices, the waters, everything. Her backpack's packed, her clothes are ironed and cleaned, and everything's hanging. She just needs to wake the fuck up, wash her face, pee, drink water, and we're out the door.
But we forgot brush.
Brush teeth, yeah. But before that, I gotta do my shit. And so like while all of this shit's cooking, I'm on the floor doing fucking burpees with David Goggins yelling at me, motherfucker, you ain't done yet. You gotta get it. And so like by 6:30, by 7, I'm like this. Because I just woke up. I started cooking.
Okay, here's a difference.
And then I wake up my kid.
Here's a difference.
Yeah.
Then you wake up the first for the week. One thing I want to ask you. Do you think because now you have a routine?
Yeah.
But sometimes routine kills a person slowly. Do you think that or not?
If it becomes an obsession to the point where it prevents you from doing other things, yeah. But it has not.
Okay.
Because in my head it's only 30 minutes. I just need 30. I need 25 minutes to do the exercise and I need 5 minutes to wash myself off and change clothes.
Okay.
So 30 minutes. Anybody can afford 30 minutes or 30 minutes of suffering.
What I ask for my students is 3 minutes or 30.
To do burpees.
Burpees, basically.
Mental burpees.
Only 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's I have now 5 students I've been teaching for the last 5 years, and we stopped the grammar and everything.
3 minutes at a time. You do 3 minute sessions.
3 minutes, that's my lesson.
Yeah.
They pay me for that. Imagine. I just
You got a good setup.
And for the last year,
Is that how you were able to afford these microphones?
No.
Of course we afforded Omar afforded the microphones.
This is really expensive stuff.
Trust me, man.
This is for free stuff.
Yeah. If you know the right people.
If you know the right,
He sends him a screenshot every day.
Yeah.
exercise.
Yeah.
Russians say don't have 100 whatever rubles, shekels, dollars. Don't have 100. Rubles have 100 francs.
Yeah, and they each give you $100,
and they each will. One will give you a microphone, another will give you a stand.
Yeah.
In Jordan, you said don't have 100 friends, have more friends. Because if you have 100 friends, they're all going to ask for more money because they're all in debt. You know?
Really? Is that what you're saying, Jordan?
No,
we don't.
I don't think so. Because Jordan, from what I understand, is a communist utopia. You don't need any.
Then you don't understand, my fella.
No. I really, that's what I want that.
What did
you think that's from?
I might have made it up.
Ah.
I might be thinking.
Is that
I really wanted to know. Please.
is that what you work?
Sorry, I'm not gonna go there right now.
Is that what you work out on, too? You're doing burpees and the David Goggins. Jordan is a fucking communist utopia. Blah blah blah. You're like, yes, exactly.
Back
when screaming in the back.
Palestine.
Man.
Years ago.
No, like 70 years ago.
Yeah.
7? Well,
A little more. Like 80. I mean,
it was under British occupation.
Yeah, but still Palestine.
Yeah. We had even Golden Mayer and I forgot the name of the guy on the iPads. I forgot his name. And when they came to Palestine, they came with Palestinian, set up with the state of Palestine. Even the coins. Money.
Palestinians had their own money. They could have their own finances. But back when Palestine was Palestine, that's how the Jews originally occupied Palestine, because they came in under the pretext of this is we can live here. You have so much space. It's just a few of us.
Actually, that's kind of wrong because they already lived there.
Who?
Obviously, it was not just Palestinians.
Obviously. But I'm saying,
No, when they came, they got out from the German. Person. So they came, and that's like you would say because of the British, they were the ones who were giving the places, and they lived with side by side with the Jews. Until at one point they stopped doing that. They stopped having the guns. They stopped killing. Even they killed. No, the Jews who were there. Not all of them, of course. Some of them, even if you don't know, in Egypt, Yemen, Iraq, there was Jews there, and these Jews were forced out of their houses by
their government,
by not by Nasser, by in Iraq. I forgot the name. I forgot the name. Maybe it was a kingdom at that time. They didn't want to leave their home. And they were saying, "Hey, you have a home in
Israel."
They were like, "No, we don't. We have to give you for the past 100 fuck off."
Right.
But because of like some of the Arabic Jews, they were like, "Oh, they keep the Jews out." They were like, "Okay." And when then? Now, when in the 20s, when there was the immigration to Palestine started.
Right. That's what I was
And they even some of the people there, one of them was called Haggani. Like let's say militias. They even killed British officials. They even like assassinated British officials who were like against giving them too much, let's say, guns and power or whatever.
Wow.
These guys were killed. So they say when they're said, give us, we'll just sit here. It wasn't like that. They already, my grandfather, his neighbor, were Jews. They looked like normally together. Until suddenly it became it's propaganda basically.
I think it was a tipping point where it was like a certain concentration of the Jews. It just grew a little over. It's like water boiling over.
It didn't even grow over. It's just they started killing the people who were getting immigrated. They were soldiers. That's why they had so much experience in.
Warfare.
Because they fought in World War I, they fought in World War II.
Right.
They had so much experience. And some of them, these are the people who are telling them, we need to take our land back. And because this is something of religion.
Right. So they just hijacked.
Basically, that's what I would say is they basically hijacked with the help of the British and the Balfour Promise.
Yeah.
Declaration. Well, we call it the Balfour Promise. But it's a promise. He promised a home for the Jews in Palestine. 1970.
I mean, it's written in British English. When you read it, it's kind of like, what are you, fucking Shakespeare?
No, he said, no, this is his word. That's why it's called Balfour's Promise. Because he promised it. And there's a question here that goes, who the fucking right?
To promise anything,
But it makes sense. To me, it makes sense now. If some of the arrivals into newly found lands were very experienced in warfare. Because if you look at, for example, like the States, when Vietnam War ended and Vietnam vets came back to the States. They, all of them, not all of them, obviously, but a lot of them couldn't, assimilate back into normal life. And so, they ended up being, they ended up in the prison system. And then they just jacked the prison system because they were, what are you going to do to me? Like, I've seen the Viet Cong in front of me, like, you people don't scare me. Same thing with USSR when the Afghan War ended. Same thing. They came back to Soviet Union, and they've been fucking. The Afghan War lasted like 10 years or 20 years. Obviously, some of those people,
they're scarred.
Had a couple of scars here and there. So they could live in regular society, regular, rosy. Let's not kill anybody's society, and so obviously they ended up in jail, and they jacked the entire prison system because they could, and they had no fear.
And one of the things
so I can believe, I believe
and one of the things of how all of this happened is because not the Arabs themselves at the time. My grandfather, he used to have. He used to have this So I would tell him, so how were days back in the 20s?
Yeah.
And he would just go off, he's like, what the fuck? Like, because in 1948, when the Palestinians left their land, people think that they left their lands voluntarily. There is voluntarily. Why? Because on the radio, the Arab, because there was like one or two Arab,
Radio stations? Radio stations.
Radio stations.
Yeah.
Like they say, and this is from the armies of the Arab world, like, leave your houses, you're gonna get your land back in 2 days. My grandfather, till like the day he died, he would tell me, man, those 2 days are getting a bit more.
Typical Jewish. You guys go there, and
not typical Jewish. This is Arab greed.
Yeah, I don't.
This is. You say you don't. This is greed. This is 100% greed.
What was the point of it?
The greed of it is some of the Arab armies there. They had their money, the power that they got was because of the United States, because of like, hey, here's the country, you can rule it. Fuck yeah, man! I will rule this country. But watch out. In 1948, when the Arabs fought against the Jews in the 7 armies, you know, they fought and they lost. Why did they lose? A lot of the things they say because of defective weapons. Oh, the Americans gave us defective weapons, and there are Egyptian heads of like army. One of them is Shazli, Sa'd-ad-Din Shazli. This guy, he said, it's not that the weapons were defective. We didn't know how to use the fucking weapons.
Wow.
You know? Our soldiers were like farmers, and they didn't know how to use the weapon. Grenade, they would like poke it in. Oh, this is a popsicle. Blow up in their faces.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not.
Compared to the numerically lower, but way more experienced Jews
who already had their guns and everything from the British Empire. I'm not excluding what you say the conspiracy theory, because it's not a theory. It is a conspiracy. For me, it's not. It is a fucking conspiracy. It affected us till this day. You know, and it affected us so much. How this happened in 2012, I can read the story 100 times. 2012, I'll show you how Arabic influence is. In Egypt, there was the Muslim Brotherhood came about. In 2012, Israel attacked Gaza. And what did Muhammad Morsi at the time did? He said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send my prime minister to Gaza with like AIDS.
Medical aids.
Medical aids. Thank you for. And when I'm gonna send them, if you touch him, you are declaring war, and all our treaties and everything are gonna throw it out of the fucking window. You know, of course, the prime minister was like, "What did you do?"
I'm not going.
And he sent them, and the next day there was not anything, and it stopped. Compared to 7th of October. No Arabs did that. You see the.
No, our president, because Israel was Israel was launching the missiles. It means a horse actually. It's a type of horse. But in Egyptian Arabic it means like a pussy. It's like a little like not sisi, but sis. We say it means like a pussy.
Well, it's not pussy. Like I think in Turkish they say something like sis. That means I think it's non-existent. Like akhlaq, sis, like ethics, sis. Or morals, sis. That means they don't have morals. You know? So sis is like
no,
I don't know what's the fucking from, but okay.
The whole thing with Israel and Palestine was happening. Israel like accidentally, I think it was an accident. Well, they say it was an accident. Launched a couple of missiles near where Egypt is, and our president was like, "Hey, the first time it happened, they're like, hey, can you not launch missiles? Like, or war is gonna happen." They're like, okay, and then they launched another missile, and they was like, please, can you not?
Didn't we ask in Iceland?
Yeah. So yeah.
Like I get this, but there's also it's not only that. There's only like the other part that didn't do what they were supposed to do, what they said they would. Because the participants of them were like, fucking tell that. And we can see clearly for the past 7 years, I'm like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
I knew a guy who told me a story about his neighbor. He had 7 martyrs, 7 kids were like killed by Israelis. Each time one of the kids gets killed, he would celebrate, and then he would tell his wife, let's go get the next martyr.
Next batch, baby.
Yeah, let's go get the next batch. And you know, like, how the fuck?
I mean, that's Viking type shit. They're gonna be involved.
It's kind of weird that the father or grandfather didn't die yet, but like all of his kids are.
Yeah.
It's like,
And one thing,
this guy knows where to be at. Like,
I'll be in the basement.
it's just like I don't want to be seen around my kids. just in case.
there was one picture, which was this was in 2018. There was like 500 people in Gaza. It was called a peace march. They marched. When they marched to the fence, the Israelis started shooting at them. They killed 100 and maybe 80 or 100 people. One of the pictures was one guy. Two people, sorry, they were carrying like one guy was shot, and one guy was with a cigarette. He was trying to smoke a cigarette.
As he's carrying.
As he's carrying, and the picture under is like, this guy won't let go of his cigarette. He's gonna let go of his And one thing is, like, you see, why did they leave? Because the Arab army were like, we're gonna get your land back.
I mean, you should know. You should know your own time. Like, if they're like, we're gonna give your land back in 2 days, and you should be like, then why don't we have to leave again?
Well, the thing is, at that time, there was the only piece of news you could get is through the radio.
Yeah.
And one Arabic singer. That's the only piece of news.
Yeah.
So it's not only, and this is a conspiracy, like I tell you, 100%. It's not conspiracy. It's what, like, already predetermined what's gonna happen. Like you can see the lining. These people were simple people. Farmers.
It was like.
There's a big area.
Yeah, the only gun they had was the guns they used to fight against the British. And they were like, what, rifles?
Muskets.
Basically.
Takes
They had the cool wigs from back in the days as well, though. So
and then the Judas. So that is the only thing about it.
Did you guys ever see Harvard entrance exam from like 1850 something? It was something crazy. It was like 3 pages. I wish it was like I wish it would be like Joe.
I really want. Maybe we'll try it.
If Omar, like, he's doing all the post-production, this guy's doing all the fucking work. Fucking hell, hard work.
Actually, like, while he's pulling it out, because I really wanted to ask you this, because you're the one who started English comedy here, you and Yavitz, yeah?
I mean, I'd say Yavitz more so. He was the one to...
Motherfucker, I think it's also you. Don't
build
yourself out of it.
I
know what you were doing.
You know how there's Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak?
You're Zuckerberg.
I was Jobs, and he was the brain.
So like,
you were the one who went out and like want people to go inside the venue.
No.
Jim and Jax.
No. I mean, they definitely came for the rowdiness, and but that's what I said. The face. And that was definitely me. But the entire idea, I saw Ivan's. Ivan was the one to make this VK page called Moscow.
In comedy bar.
And I like this was the beginning. He was the one. He had like 20 followers. or like 50 followers or something. That's how I found him. And I just showed up one day, and it was just him in an empty room, and I was with my buddy, and we said we had a bottle of vodka. And I thought like I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna do like a couple of my old jokes that I brought from like Finland and stuff like that.
So you started it in Finland or in
Comedy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I also you lived in LA for a while in Canada.
No, I mean, yeah, like Canada was exchange. It was the first semester for about 6 months, 5 months. And LA, I would just go back and forth because my ex-wife was from there. So just, tops 3 weeks, maybe a month. I think 3 weeks was tops. We would go there like once a year, sometimes twice. But it would never, my stay in the States would never exceed like a month and a half per year.
Okay.
So, but I started in Finland because I just thought, like I'm funny. I can do this.
Just had an orgy, right?
That started later. In my head.
How old were you when you started comedy? 18. Okay.
Comedy in my mind was a trampoline. Comedy in my mind was a trampoline to orgies. And so I signed up for this open mic. At the time there was like one open mic you could actually sign up.
In English?
I mean, it was in Finnish, but I just messaged the dude and I'm like, hey, I don't speak Finnish. At the time I didn't. I was like, I'll do it in English. Just like, okay, you have 5 minutes.
Okay.
And
How was your first time?
I showed up, I killed.
Oh.
Surprisingly, I had a couple of gay jokes and some. I don't remember. I just remember gay jokes. Where I bent down and I'm like, just wiggle my ass. But I was so worried when I got on stage. I was so worried. I was one of those nervous people. I was shaky, and I couldn't take the mic out of the mic stand. So I was afraid. Like if I pulled too hard, I might break something. It's gonna be embarrassed. It should have fall down. And it's not gonna be. So I tried taking it out, but it wouldn't. I couldn't yank it out of there. It wouldn't budge. So I just left it there, and it was like maybe like 25, maybe like 30% lower than my height. And so I was just. I crouched like this. I spoke like this for 5 minutes. But it was a success. Everybody really liked it, and to my I guess favor to my advantage at the time. Everybody who was anybody in Finnish comedy was at that particular spot. And they saw me, and when I got off stage, I had a line of people in front of me, and they were like, "Hi, I run this club, and it's like over here and over there. It's gonna be, in October. This was September when I started. Like October 21st. This guy's gonna come in and pick you up, and we're gonna pay you, and you're gonna." And I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, and then thank you, bye-bye. Exchange phone numbers. Next person in line. Hi, so September 25th, whatever. And so I was booked all the way until.
Really, off your first set? And like, so now your second gig was a paid gig, yeah? No?
Second gig was the night after my first gig. But by that time, Finns call it Finns say "Kusi meni päähän," which means piss went into my head. Because after the first one, I was like,
yeah.
There's nobody cooler than me. And so the second one, I just wrote it on my, literally on the table, like 5 minutes before it went on. Like anything that I put.
There's gonna be
gold.
Amazing. I'm gonna kill. And I show up and I died. I was crying afterwards. And then it just only got worse from there because all the paid gigs that were actually lined up, I would show up and I would bomb. I bombed here, I bombed there, I bombed there, I bombed there, I bombed there. And then the last
was it with the same or you just went, okay, you.
By the end of December. My last gig was middle of December. I had probably like a shaky 15, 15 to 20, and out of that, maybe 5 was good. So I managed to like quickly.
Oh yeah, get a.
Script. Like 5 actually got laughs, and the other 15 was kind of like.
Okay.
Yeah, but after that, the phone stopped.
Ah. Yeah. Anyways, you pulled up the Harvard stuff?
Yeah. So first the papers they're like Harvard papers.
Oh man, ancient Egypt used to write on better quality paper than this
And
one.
just read the first question.
Yeah. So translate into Latin.
Yeah. Check this out.
I love this. Write only as much as you can revise carefully. I do not care how rich Gygus is.
Who is Gygus?
That's not a part of the question, sir.
And here's another one, Latin grammar. Write legibly. And number your answers carefully to corresponding questions. Okay. Here's another one, Greek grammar.
Yes. Yeah. So this is 18 what?
1869.
1869 Harvard admission.
1869.
So people. So there were people in 1869 in America that could answer these questions, and this was just the beginning of their stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what percentage do you think out of the entire population of the world would you put those people?
No, because the
0.0.
problem is that
0.001%.
Not more.
no. But because no one teaches. Like I assume they took Latin classes in school. No one takes Latin classes in school. Huh?
100
Yeah, I assume so.
Because
Because they didn't have Mexicans back then, so maybe they didn't need Spanish. Now, like ask.
I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about like 150 years ago. Like the standard for education was learn how to read and write. If you knew how to read and write, you were set. You were. I mean, you would be able to get a job like some admin office.
Okay.
Because most of the people were just toil the land.
Mm-hmm.
They're just farmers, and then there were peasants, and then there were lords.
Yeah.
That just owned the land and just did whatever they did, hunting.
And I have a question.
Who would go to Harvard then?
With this question, I would understand that only
It would be kids. Kids of people who were running this shit.
Ah.
So I'm saying. Because they would prep their kids.
It's like one of those like Russians back in the days. They would get them like those French tutors from France. So maybe they would get them their Latin teachers from Atlantis or whatever.
Talk about Atlantis. We're talking about Prophet Muhammad, and there's theory that all these prophets, not only Muhammad, but also Jesus, also Buddha, also anybody else.
Buddha is not a prophet.
He was a human. That's true.
Yeah. Well, not in my teachings. He was never a prophet.
Well, for me, I don't know where I connected up because we had how many prophets all in all? There was just like 100 something, I think. In the Quran, there's only a few
Mentioned by yeah.
So there were even prophets that were not mentioned. Sure. Even some people say that Jesus was Buddha.
There's a theory, and there's another.
I didn't know that.
It doesn't really match to the pictures if you put Buddha. But
I mean, maybe it was Jesus when he was tired. Like. Just woke up. Like just 3 days. He just woke up like 3 days. He's like, man, I'm tired.
From what I understand, there's no record of what Jesus did between like the age of 14 and 30. And so that time he probably went on to India. India is really good food. It's really good food. So they would feed him all the time. and
I love the thought that he woke up 8 days later. I really need to work for this motherfucker. He tried to kill me.
they thought he was dead. Nah, he just get through the fat.
Just ate too much shit.
There's a theory that prophets are actually ancient peoples of like the Atlantis and prior, who because they were apparently developed spiritually, energetically, physically, they were way more developed than us regular humans these days. And what they would do is during times of cataclysms and catastrophes, shit going down. What they would do is they would go away into mountains. And they would hide away, and they would meditate. They would go into this soma, this state of where they're not dead, but they're not alive. They're just dormant, and they're there. They're waiting for a signal until they can wake up. And once they wake up, then they will observe, what's going on, what's happening.
I wouldn't know about I can only talk about we know his life.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, it's all.
That's what I said. There's a theory.
Is there something that supports this in a way?
I thought Atlantis was.
I read it in the book.
Again.
You believe everything?
We write comedy.
If anybody finds your book, oh shit.
This guy should really not do comedy.
The book was about actually it was written by an ophthalmologist.
What?
An ophthalmologist.
What do they do?
So people who study eyes. And so he what he did was he
Wait, optometrist is the
ophthalmology, OPH.
Okay.
Anyway,
So continue.
So this dude, he took pictures of like his goal was to find out based on the eyes, the retinas and the corneas and blah blah blah. What if you could figure out who was the original human? Where did it come from? And so he through some computer analysis. This is way back. This is like 20 years ago. He did some analysis, and he came he got these eyes, and these eyes really resembled very closely resembled the eyes of I don't remember what it's called, but it's like if you go to any Tibetan monasteries or anything, you can see these eyes on every single wall. And so he was like, this is fucking, that's weird. Our computer gave us this, but this is actually in every single thing. Let's get down there. And so he got an expedition, and he went to Abed. He tried talking to some of these monks and everything, and they would be very apprehensive talking about it, and then until finally he managed to, he was just like, oh, we're just looking for information, blah blah blah. And they would tell him like, first of all, you wouldn't understand. Second of all, this is not for you. This is not for everybody. This is just like our shit. We are the ones to. And bookends with him actually somehow figuring out. I don't remember who gave him the tip. Who tipped him off. He figured out which mountain, which cave to go into, to look at, and it was like I was able to. I didn't see the person because his theory was that there's these people, these superhumans. They're still out there in the mountains from long time ago, from before like different cataclysms actually took place. They're sitting there dormant, waiting for the signal until they can eject from that state, come out and preach. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
If you need someone to tell you that, it's like what Carmen said. At least you need sensitivity training. You don't fuck up.
It's true. It's true. No, it's true. It's true. Yeah. You don't need a book to like. Oh, I'm not supposed to like hurt people. Oh, damn. But you know.
And then the book itself says kill those people.
Yeah. There's this joke where it's like, oh, what if aliens come to Earth and they see the cross and they're like, who's this guy? And they're like, oh, Jesus. And they're like, why do you love him so much? He told us not to kill each other. And he's like, and then you killed this guy. And he's the only guy who taught you that. And they're like, no, there's also Martin Luther King, you know. And they're like, what did you do with that guy? Yeah.
Jesus murdered Gandhi, murdered Kennedy, murdered Reagan, shot, wounded 10 times.
Reagan is fine.
Yeah. Maybe we should go for some news.
Hicks had a beautiful set. Yeah.
Hicks having
that was Hicks. Gandhi murdered.
Yeah.
So the piece of so it's here we have like small segments. Which one would you like to do?
Yeah, sure. Let's do the bully.
So the headline says, I gave my son's bully a taste of his own medicine because the school refused to help. So the idea is that this guy who had like his son was very tall, but was bullied for alcohol use. Went to the school once. They didn't do anything about it. He went to the parents of this kid once. They didn't do anything about it. So he himself taught this bully lesson. What do you think of the lesson?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it.
No, I read something. I don't know. I forgot what, but it was like I gave him a taste of his own medicine, and my first idea was like. You were trying to bully this 14-year-old kid? Like, what did you tell him? Hey, Tim, I fucked your mom or something. So that's the only thing I thought, but it was such a retarded thing, man. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. This is a hint. This is a hint, yeah.
It's more stupid. I mean,
for you, what do you think?
I mean, damn, the guy. Does it have anything to do with the guy, the bullied kid being tall?
Well, that's what they say. Like, he was very tall. These kids were bullying.
I understand, but I'm asking you to give me a hint.
No.
He's the tallest kid in this class because of his genetics.
Which is a weird thing to get bullied by.
He was getting bullied. I didn't wait. I went to the school, so they would fix stuff.
So it's a weird thing to get bullied. Like, can you imagine if Shaquille O'Neal was getting bullied? Like, what the fuck?
I got him to pick with the parent.
Which parent?
The parent who went to the school. Dipshit. Like, you tell your kid to solve your own problems. First of all, you gotta build your own kid's confidence. So that, like, that's fine. Some people are taller, some people are shorter, some are bigger, some are smaller. That's fine. It's totally so. Like, if you get upset, if that makes you upset, whatever he said to you makes you upset. You're just giving him power. That means you agree with him. By you being upset, whatever he said, you're giving him power. Therefore, you're showing yourself to be the weaker, side in this confrontation, and you should be stronger. Man the fuck up. First of all, you're taller. You can just, you shouldn't physically, interact with the bully unless you're being unless you're in danger. Unless you're then.
It's funny because for me, I was taught the other way. You get bullied.
I was the same thing. I remember.
Make them know.
No, I remember. I told I used to get bullied, and I told my teachers, and they didn't do anything. And I was like, alright, fuck it. So these kids are beating me. I swing back at them. I get suspended from school, which is a weird thing. But like, yes, because you were talking about the tall people thingy. There's the story, two basketball players, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Will Chamberlain. They were in an elevator with this short guy, and this guy, he tried to bully Will Chamberlain. He tells him, how's the weather up there? And then Will Chamberlain spits on him and he says, it's fucking raining.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Will Chamberlain, he was in Conan with Donald Trump.
Yeah. Oh, there
Will
is.
Chamberlain is not working. He doesn't mess around.
Yeah, I mean, if you're stupid enough to pick on somebody who's real, like regular, especially like a dude. Like chicks is a little different, but like with dudes, like if a dude is like super tall and you can see that he's strong. Like Chris Rock said, with guys, there's a certain line. I don't fuck with.
Which is talking about his wife, alopecia.
No, I mean, but like. I'm referring back to his.
Bigger
black.
Yeah.
There was Eddie Griffin had a very nice dude like you're supposed to get bullied. It's like
That's right.
Yeah, it's if you're good at like punching or you're good at math. Like, oh, I can't punch. Must be good at math. This is how you separate.
Yeah. Were you to like bullied or bullies?
I was bullied a little bit, yeah.
I was bullied, and as I said, I kind of swung back and they got shit beaten up. But at that time, I needed like my friends were all like 5 years older than me, like 3, 5, 10 years older than me. And man, I was prison group. Listen, and so like prison was on before I even knew I couldn't spell the word prison. And so whenever I get bullied, I make sure they're gonna bully me. I've been in line of sight of these guys. And the moment they bully me, I just stand there and smile. And suddenly like 2 like walls come there and like.
It's like having a brother.
And at one point, I became the bully. I started fucking with people because nobody was.
I was the opposite. I was the opposite.
Ultimate power.
I was the opposite when I was like in first year. I was back when I was living in Dubai with my uncle. I was a bully, and then it turned around. I remember this one story. We had this Japanese kid in our school.
That's weird.
Yeah. And I remember like this one time where he had like a Pikachu eraser, and I was like, "Fuck!" My mom was blown, like, and I purposely made a mistake while writing so I can ask him for the eraser because I wanted to look at it. And he said no. And I was like, I didn't know you could say no. So I tried to take the eraser from him. He didn't give it back to me, so I took my pencil and like here, I hit him here. Like, if his eye was the bullseye. No.
Violent tendencies, age what?
7. Yeah. Trust me, man.
Yeah, that's when now that Japanese kid
is good at math. He's really good at math. No, but I didn't hit him in the eye. Like, if like his eyes was the bullseyes, I hit him in the yellow part.
He never made a mistake because he never brought an eraser after school.
Yeah.
Props to the Japanese.
Definitely.
Some dark skinned dude like.
No, we spoke English. We spoke English,
Right. I studied in the embassy school, Russian embassy school in Finland, first through third grade, and then I had a problem with the teacher. She didn't. I don't remember the exact things. It was such a long time ago, but I remember that I wasn't happy going to school every day because of the teacher. And so my parents were like, well, fuck it, like we're gonna pull you out of the embassy school, and we're gonna put you in like regular Finnish school, but in like English class. And so, but I didn't speak any English, let alone Finnish. So I could barely fucking speak Russian. Really, third grade. Basically, I could only put like 3 words together at the same time. And so I go to this Finnish school, and like Finnish school starts like a month before Russian school. So like summer, I should be like jumping around and everything. My mom dresses me up in all like a white, super like iron shirt, pants, little like bow tie, and like backpack, like a little get I'm so fat, like a fat gay boy, and I'm just walking into this 4th grade, and I show up in the yard, and nobody's wearing bow ties, let alone fucking dress pants and an iron shirt. Everybody's like shorts. T-shirt, teacher walks out in flip-flops. She's like, hey, alright, well, this is your class. And like, I look at this international class that this was supposed to be in, and it's just like, 15 Finnish kids, one Swedish dude, and like one Estonian, and me.
Nice.
And like immediately, which is like kind of like nigger for Russians, and like in the beginning, like I didn't understand anything, but like later on, I was just like, oh, this is insulting to me, so I should react. And so like I started like I would probably push somebody or and so the teacher would write a letter to my dad. So on Monday, they drop mom and dad. Bye. Great time in school. First, time outside of the Russian,
Embassy
system. Good luck. Okay. 5 hours later, like back home, dad, sign this, please. And he's like, what is this? My dad doesn't speak English. He's like, what is this? And I'm like, well, this kid called me, names, and like I pushed him, and my dad's like, alright, whatever. And I take him back the next day, and I show it to the teacher. She's like, alright, take this down. And then first, recess, whatever, we walk around. So again, same thing happens. Pushing, shoving, a little bit of fighting here and there, just whatever. Kids, 4th grade. Again, I get a letter. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On Friday.
I love the thought that one of them like, hey, we're some heavy pen message.
No, it's not. They knew something was up. On Tuesday, my dad was like, what is this? And I'm like, it's a letter again because. And I remember my dad was just like, oh, I see. Okay. This is systemic. I see a pattern. And so on Friday, the teacher's like, I'm gonna call your dad. Because I can't be writing letters. This clearly doesn't work. And so my dad shows up, and they lock themselves out of the teacher and the dad. And I don't understand how my dad understood. She explained, the teacher explained that in Finnish school, you're not supposed to take matters into your own hands. If something happens, you're supposed to go to the teacher. You're supposed to talk. Yeah, you're supposed to basically tell on someone. And then the teacher is responsible for handling the situation. And my dad's like, but that's not teaching kids to handle their own problems. What do you expect? You're going to be with him like next year, the year after that? You're raising a pussy. And she's like, well, that's how we do it here. Okay. And my dad,
then your dad's
like, what did he do? And she's like, well, he punched this kid in the face. And my dad's so he walks out all mad. And I'm like, Dad, look, I'm sorry, and he's like, I'm not mad at the fact that you punched him. I'm fat, I'm mad that you punched him in the face. You should push him in the fucking stomach. Doesn't make any worse.
It's nothing. You can say it's
Alright, should I also get a shank as well, Dad?
Yeah. So
they're like arts and crafts.
But then overall, over time, I adjusted, and it was a process. And then I had to go to another Finnish school next year. I had to go to another Finnish school, and it's like a complete different process. And then 2 years total spent in Finnish schools, international class, and.
I think right now is like the new parents. When they might guess this way, this is going to Hogwarts.
I mean, if I was any smarter, that's probably what I'd tell my parents. But I was just like a super straightforward kid. Mom, you pushed me, I pushed them.
I always see these systems and I hear like how these systems go. And I remember our system was really like this. 90s. It was very simple. You do something wrong, they're going to force your parent to come. And then they will ask your parent, "Can I beat the shit out of your kid?" And your parent will give them. Beat the shit out of him and send him to me like with at least 1 hour. He needs to do the shit. Wow. No, but that's like that. I got the shit out from teachers. Our teachers didn't give a fuck.
Wow.
They didn't give a fuck.
Like hard.
I mean, there are stories where the teachers would like tell you, "Oh, but this did happen to me." Like they would tell you, "Open your hand," and they would just like hit you with the.
That's the story.
No. Like they would hit you the edge of the ruler.
Like so. The edge of this, you want So here's one that one of our teachers, his favorite. He always had the 50 centimeter ruler. It's a little bit round with days on the end. It's very sharp. You know, I'll never forget it because I can still feel it. So one day, so as I said, my friends were like years older. 3 years.
And you're how old
this time I was. So 10 years old, so 10, 11.
Okay.
So I'm with my friends, you know, and now we were forced to come to school on a holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, on a holiday. And we went there, and my friends are all like guys who are about to finish like school.
Right.
So I'm sitting with them and everything, like all of this, and they want us to go back to class. Like, to finish the break, we had a break. We had to go back to class. The thing is that we didn't want to go back to class because you brought us on a holiday. We shouldn't even be here. So the older guys, they agreed with everybody, like literally like about 200 students. That hey guys, because it was only like 3 classes. We were a bit behind. We were forced to come.
Okay.
So they agreed with everybody. When the bell rings and they tell us to go back, we don't go back. Okay, guys, form of protest. Amazing.
Okay.
Now, we used to have a teacher. Bless his soul. I don't want to say bad words about him. Once you hear his name, you start shaking.
Wow.
He had a bamboo stick up his sleeve. He always wore a jacket, a suit jacket, a sleeve. Whenever you. Motherfucker Spider-Man.
Assassin's Creed.
Spider-Man.
Assassin's fucking Creed.
And he wasn't there that day. So we didn't want to go back to classes. And all the teachers were like getting frustrated. No, go back. We did it. So one teacher, he was a PE teacher. He had, and this is the nicest teacher. Like, this is the nicest teacher in the world. And he just went, don't worry guys, I'm gonna get them all back to classes right now. Okay. So he goes and he says, Mr. Adib, that was his name, has just come. And you know the moment that phrase rings? He had from 200, about 180 students run to their fucking classes. And I'm standing there.
And the other 20
with
just...
all their kids going,
Oh my God.
I'm not going. I'm going with these guys. Yeah, I'm ready. I remember the word that were inside my head. So comes the other teacher who was the vice principal. Vice principal. He comes, he gets his ball, like 50 centimeter sharp edge, a little bit beige on the edge, and he goes to everybody, open your hands. The older kids, like, if he hits them, they're gonna hit back, you know? They said, open your hands, but they had so much respect for him. They said, fuck it. And I'm standing with them, I'm a man, so everybody, I'm a man, so I open my hands, like palm up. He goes, no, palm down. And from the edge, he starts hitting. Then he sees me. What he wanted, who incited this form of protest? Nobody said it. So he sees me and goes, stop. You know? And I'm like, oh my man. He goes, do something. I was like, fucking hell. Well, these guys drove cars, so we just were on the wheels. So he says, like, do this. He hits me the first time, and he would hit both my hands. And the first one that went, something spawned in my head. And I remember the guy's name. You know, because he was like a good friend of my cousins, and I just looked at it, I was like, I'm gonna see him, but he hits me again. So 10, 15 hits. He hits me, and I'll never forget it. I really wanted to say it's not that guy. But always if I open my mouth, I'm gonna burst fire. So he goes. Like nothing's come out of me. I was like,
So you didn't say anything.
And my friend, I'll never forget this what he did. He stepped up and he saw like the hits. He thought that he would hit me like
Yeah.
Maybe 5 times. He went like way more. So my friend was just like the one who said it. Even the guys like there's these graduate.
They saw you
They
taking
they said let him go. It was like us basically. So he lets me go, and I go, and my hands are just shaking. I go even hold a pen, and the teacher sees that, and he goes like, go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom. I applied back. I didn't feel for like 3 weeks.
You didn't what?
Because didn't feel for 3 weeks. All the students. You know, like in the anime with the kids. Fucking hell, the janitor was happy. He didn't need to walk. Just quick.
That's the story of the Jordan Sea, whatever the fuck.
Yeah. 10 years I would tell my dad. If somebody fucking hit me in school, I'd tell my dad.
My dad would like just this is something in
Yeah, like we're pro teacher.
Pro teacher. No, my dad was against me. Anything that happened in the world, his fault. It doesn't matter. Like I say about 9/11. I wasn't even on that one. I was coming back to school. My dad was watching Al Jazeera. And he goes in. My dad, he laughed so hard, and he just we're fucked. And he continued to predict what's gonna happen. I'm not joking. Next 10 years. You know? And then he looks at me and goes, "This is your fault." It's just like
funny guy.
Oh, very funny guy.
Yeah.
So can we have like
Yes, have whatever you want.
High production, man. Yeah.
I mean,
Damn.
Anyways, next news.
I don't know what he did.
I had a bullying story or something about teachers, but I forgot about it.
Beat on him.
No, but this is something that we have. I don't know if we still have that.
Who peed on who? Wait, what?
The dad peed on the bully.
He's like, if you continue bullying my kid, I'm gonna talk to your mom. And I'm like,
That's gay.
this is gay. Yeah.
So gay.
He's like, if you keep bullying my kid, I'm gonna send a really nice letter to your mom. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna
Touch my fucking.
Here's the thing. I remember the thing. I was like, I remember like when I got suspended, they gave me a letter telling my parents, "Oh, he got suspended. You can't send him to school." And my idea was like, you know, I can just rip this letter up, and my parents are not gonna find out about it. They're like, no, we're gonna call them. I'm like, fuck it. Just.
No, for us it was instant phone. No wait, no nothing. Phone and come right now.
Wow.
And the parent would be so fucking happy. They would have the instruments from their own beating them. You know, like what do you want? Mouse, ruler, card, whatever you want, I provide. He needs to be disciplined. I don't give a fuck.
Also, a big thing in my school was. The teachers and the supervisors, because the supervisors were the ones who would punish you and everything.
Right.
They had favorites, and I was not the favorite of anyone. And I remember I had this guy. Honestly, I wish I could talk to him now. Like, because he was this retarded. I'm gonna tell you what. I want to be myself back in like when I was 14, but have this mentality.
No, I don't want to.
I wanna go back just to confront this guy. I want to be confront this guy because this guy hated my guts for some reason. He didn't like my jokes. They're like too. No. But the problem with this guy, he liked the girls, and the problem is he would flirt with like 14-year-old girls. Like literally flirt with them.
How old is he?
30s.
Okay.
Oh, this is 30?
Yeah, he was 30, beer belly.
And
I was 14. Yeah. Oh no, I was younger. 12, 13.
You were trying to talk to 14-year-old
Dude, when you're 12
and you're trying to talk to 14, dude, they look, at least to me, they look like fucking unreachable.
I remember Medita's joke is like, hello, Sue, I've got legs. And all the friends we had to go.
I got legs.
Oh man, but like yeah, this. Oh, I remember because one time he like put me in front of the whole.
Who was he?
It was like
Just a random.
no, he was the supervisor of the class.
Okay.
So and he put me. No, he would just put me in front of the whole class, and he did the roast of Omar before Omar was like anybody. He would just he would. It was all. I don't know why he did that, but it was just, he shadowed me so much, and I was.
He knew that you're gonna be such a pussy magnet. He tried to stifle your growth so that you know.
It's probably that's you from the future.
Probably, yeah.
Right. You know what? In the future, you probably drown in pussy. That's why.
And I hit on 14-year-old girls.
Did you have the teacher who you were?
Oh yeah, that was a teacher I wanted. Totally.
Oh, I had a business teacher. Oof.
Business teacher.
No. It was when I moved to Russia. I was studying in this British school here.
They had a business class.
It was an elective class, so you could either. There was like.
We went to Dubai.
Yeah.
British school.
Trust me, man.
Egyptian, and stuff.
Trust me, yeah, man. It's like this. The old Dave Chappelle joke. This joke where it's like, I hang out with a lot of rappers from the hood, and they always talk to me about the hood, and I'm like, yeah. What they don't know is my parents worked hard enough to make sure that I'm poor around white people. That's literally me, man. Yeah. But I remember we had like this elective classes, so we had like business economics. We had to take 2 elective classes: business economics, history, and geography. And in Egypt, I didn't take no history nor geography, so I was like, obviously I'm gonna be shit in that. So let me choose business and economics. And it was the same teacher, fucking like big D-cup tits, nice ass, like amazing body, like this hourglass shit. Oh, pretty face. I never missed Natalia. I never forget her. Oh man, I was masturbating under the desk. No. Well, I wasn't, but yeah.
When I moved school, when I was studying I did GCSE or whatever it's called. Yeah. It was very, very fancy. Yeah. We were like eight people in the class. And I was there the second year. So we had 2 years to study for the exam. And I entered the fucking school for the second year. So I had a lot of catching up. I spent so much time studying. At that point, I was like, fuck studying. So we had one teacher who whenever like she would. She always wore loose clothes, and I wonder what that meant. Whenever she would like bend over, like sit at the right class, everybody would stand up, even the girls.
I took the SAT.
I took the SATs as well. Cause you remember the place where I got roasted? That was an American school in Egypt. So yeah.
Damn.
I went
American school in Moscow. American school in
Egypt.
Dude.
I was
How old were you when you took SAT?
13.
13. What?
Yeah.
You took SAT at 13?
Yeah, but it was like.
I don't know.
It was not the official like. Well, it was the SAT, but it was like they made us take it a year early to prepare for next year.
Okay.
And so we took it. I don't know how. Oh, I didn't do great. I was like.
That's what I mean. SAT is for college.
No, SATs is the exams you take in like the last couple of in your senior year.
In high school.
Yeah. So I took it before my freshman year of in high school, because in our school what they would do is freshmen. So we didn't have like they skipped 1 year, so it was your last 3 years are the last 3 years of high school, and those 3 years were meant for you to prepare for the SATs. So what they did was like, how about we in 8th grade we're gonna get them to do SATs.
That's retarded.
And we did the SATs, and then starting from 9th grade we're gonna prepare them for the SATs.
Right. So we're gonna give them the test before we give them the.
And then they're gonna take it again when they're in year 12.
Then they increase your grade.
I have no fucking clue why. The worst part about it is I had to. My parents had to pay for the SAT.
Yeah, you have to pay.
I forgot how it was in dollars back then, and I think if I remember correctly, we had to pay the school in dollars, and I forgot how many dollars. But I told my grandma. My grandma was shocked. She called my dad in Russian. She's like, "Yeah, we need dollars," and my dad was like, "What the fuck happened?" Yeah, but then we eventually like. My grandma got the money, and then I had to take the money to a bank. Yeah, it was like she was selling crack, like listening to Biggie, you know, like 10 crack commandments. Like,
I don't think that out.
eventually I had to go to the bank, get the dollars, pay the school. I was like, yeah.
I took SAT when I was 16 to get into college.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated high school. And I took my first SAT to just to see, and I got it was 1,600 at the time.
And you paid per trial, if I remember correctly, yeah. So you have
Per trial?
yeah, because you have 4 trials, I remember, something like that.
Oh, like how many times you can take it?
Yeah.
I think you can take it.
Oh really? They always tell us 4 tries, motherfucker. Then you're.
I mean, I only took it twice. The first time I took it was just because I thought I'm gonna wing it because like I'm from a. Because after 5th grade I went back to Russian embassy school, and by the end of high school we were doing like logarithms and like sine and cosine. It was just like in the back of my head all the time. Like, yeah.
Easy.
Easy peasy. That's right. So like in my head, English was a problem because there are a couple of words that I'm not a couple. There's a lot of words that I would read them. I would know how to read them. I wouldn't even know what they meant. So. I was like, English is my problem. And then I show up to the test and I open it. First time ever, I look at, the questions and I'm like, fuck. So I got, like, first time I did it, I got like 800. I got 50%.
Oh, this you get 400 for putting your name. There's a Kevin Hart joke where
Out of 16.
Yeah,
I get 800 out of 16. That is not even a passing grade. To anywhere. That's no college. That's like you have to be left back a year in high school. just like Omar, you need 3 more years to qualify for any kind of proper SAT score. And then at the time, my parents were still in Finland at the time, so they were like, well, I mean, you clearly failed this, so you're not going to be able to get into any like European or American college with this grade. So we're going to have to pull some strings and get you into like a Russian college. So we're going to go to Russia. And I was like, after like 20 years, a little under 20 years in Finland, I'm like, I don't want to go back to Russia. And my parents were like, well, either you get another score and you get in on your own, or you're going to have to go here and we're going to have to pull some strings. But for now, we're going to have to pull some strings. And so we fly to Moscow, we go to this university, and I show up and it's like a bunch of Chechen dudes. And I'm like, and they're like, yeah. They're all just like 2003. And I'm like, Dad, I don't want to be here. This is not my cup of tea. He's like, well, then I'm out. I'm off my hands. You're on your own.
And he left the front room.
And he went out for a smoke. And then so I go to college board, the thing that's responsible for SATs, and I look at, because I have to coordinate the time for my application for the university that I applied to. And it was like May, and I had like under 6 months. I had under 6 months. And so I got my dad to go with me to like a bookstore. We got the thickest prep SAT prep book you could, and then my dad got me a tutor, math tutor. I studied maybe like I don't know, like a total of like 5 hours. He didn't speak any English, but I translated all the problems for him, and he just went step by step. Like, this is how you solve this type of problem. This is how you solve this type of problem. Blah blah blah. And then for the next like 6 months, I did absolutely nothing. There was zero friends. I mean, I didn't really have any friends at the time. Like, I didn't go out. I did not want to go back. So like I stuck. I was at home, just doing all these practice tests, and in the end, I scored 1250.
Okay, that's
1250, which is a passing grade, which is literally the border, the bottom border. And I'm eager. I'm like, fuck, I passed. And I wait. So this is May and July. I get a very thin letter in the mail saying, unfortunately, you did get a passing grade, but the next person in front of you, Li Jianhua from Shenzhen, she got 1300. And so she was the last one and you were right after. You're at the cutoff here and there, and so unfortunately you didn't get into the main campus. And I'm devastated. And I'm just like a week. I didn't even want to check off.
What university were you applying for?
Helsinki School.
I
mean, we're shooting for the stars. This is like the top of the top. In Finland, this is like top 100 universities in the world.
Okay.
And so I'm just broken. A week later, I get a fat envelope in the mail, and it says, "Congratulations, you got into Helsinki School of Economics experimental campus. It's the same Helsinki School of Economics, but it's going to be a different system. It's not going to be like 5 subjects, 3 months. It's not going to be semesters. It's not going to be like
13 subjects.
It's going to be one subject for 3 weeks.
Okay.
And after that, it's going to be another subject for 3 weeks. And after that, it's going to be another subject for 3 weeks. So it's going to be intense. You're going to have every day, you're going to have 3-hour lectures. After that, you're going to have group work. After that, you're going to have homework. After that, you're going to have to do presentations. You're going to have to do blah, 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 blah. And it's not going to be in Helsinki, where I lived at the time. It's going to be in Russia. It's going to be it's going to be in a little city called Nikolai, which is like 200 kilometers away from Helsinki. It's a really small area, and it's like university.
Well known for its orgies.
That's how we
slowly transition from being bullied, from trying to learn language, trying to failing, and then finally getting to that university and finally grabbing the orgy.
Yeah, okay, sure, yeah.
I think we've come full circle.
We did, man, yeah.
I'm waiting for round 2.
Before that, sorry for interrupting. No. We haven't introduced you. Tell us about yourself.
No, don't do this shit, man, where you tell me, oh, put this at the beginning. No, just...
No, this is the end.
This is the end? Okay.
I mean, if you don't know who I am by now.
Well, can I present you?
OG Master 5.
I think we've got all the... We've hit all the major chords.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nikolai,
thank you so much,
Omar Hefnawi, Abed Owaisi, thank you, everyone.
See you on the 7th of October.
Why?
That's when the episode's going to be launched.
Oh,
really? Yeah.
Happy 7th of October, everybody.
Yeah.
This is totally not going to get
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You were looking for an outro. Outro music. Not copyrighted. Hi, man.
Do you allow us to use this?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much.